Well, hello, and welcome to the Lockhart Radio Podcast. Of course, I am your hostess, Felicia Lockhart, and we do have none other than Jay Prince with us today. Today, we're looking at a topic that's very near and dear to my heart for, in this case, I'm going to say obvious reasons. And that is because I was raised by a stepfather. So I'm going to go ahead and put us on the screen so that you guys can see us. But I do want to thank everybody for coming in today, everybody for being here. It means a lot to us. It means a great deal. So I want to thank everybody for showing up. And Mr. J. Prince, how are you? You doing good today? I do hope that you are
Yeah.
doing well.
Hey, how you doing, Miss Lockhart? I'm doing pretty good.
Well, I'm doing, I am doing. The reason why I said, and you already know, and the closest friends to me already know that the reason why this topic is near and dear to my heart, and especially today, is because I lost my dad at the top of this week. Actually, Monday, after we did our show on Tuesday, I got a call early in the morning, and it's always those early calls. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
something's, somebody's texting you or calling you real early. You sort of hate to answer the phone because you fear that it just might be some bad news. And in my case, it was some bad news. And so that was very it was hurtful. So I learned that my stepfather, who raised me, Lee A. Hill Sr., passed away. Now, I know that there's a lot of stuff that people say about stepfathers, and I've heard all of it. You know what I mean? I've heard it. I've heard the good, the bad, the ugly. I've reprimanded you a couple of times because you didn't like the topic of stepfathers. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
we're going to get into that. I sort of wanted to lighten the load before I took um my piece and did my portion, and my portion is obviously what's listed there, and that is stepfathers. Are they a necessity? In my opinion, yeah, they are. But there are some people who are not of that mindset, that they're not a necessity. And everybody is allowed to, based on the life that they've lived, everybody is allowed to share their opinion, right? They're
Mhm.
all allowed to share their opinion. And I think that's important. But today, after you do your session, I am going to deal specifically with stepfathers, some of the misnomers, some of the things that people say about stepdads or men, men who've taken on the role of being a stepfather and stuff like that. So we're gonna go ahead and pull up what you got, because I see you got some stuff. Is that what you left back here for me?
That was to go with that. What I just sent you was going to be the topic when we get into the stepfather
Oh,
conversation.
okay. So that means you got some stuff that I don't know about.
Yes, ma'am. And this is a topic that um, I think you will be the perfect person to have this conversation with. Um, it's called "How to Destroy a Man Now." Once upon a time, there was this book called "How to Destroy a Man Now." And so
Wow,
here's
wait
this
a minute.
guy.
What was it? Okay, so it's how to destroy a man now. Okay, I got it. Go. That sounds
It used,
very unique.
it used to be on Amazon,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
And um, I want to get your perspectives on once we like this book was banned off Amazon eventually, and
Okay.
the names that they got in this book is gonna blow your mind. That of the men that got destroyed based on these principles that's in
Okay.
this book.
Okay. Okay.
And this is not getting discussed. We have witnessed this on YouTube. And when we did the first episode of Sunday Gossip, we dabbed in a little bit of it
Mm-hmm.
on how to destroy a man. Luckily, in that incident, a man kind of got off by the
Mm-hmm.
grace of his son and his neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
But we talk about the unfortunate situations where there's no witnesses, there's no video cameras, and nothing to protect men. And it's a lot of men, black and white, who has been affected by these principles in this book. So you let me know if you want me to press play.
Well, let me first read what I see on the screen, because that's something to look at right now. So those of you who are here, we are splitting our live today, and I want to welcome everybody from the Black House. I want to welcome everybody from the Black House today. I thank you guys all for showing up on JP's behalf. It means a lot, and I'm very appreciative to everybody who comes over. I also want to take the time to thank all of the folks from the Black House last week that sold into the Lockhart perspective. It was all
Sorry.
I appreciate you. I want to thank you guys, each one of you all who sold, who gave, gifts of love and it really meant a lot to me. So I want to thank you guys for that. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and do yours. I'm gonna let you, as we say, cook.
Oh yeah.
And then after you're done cooking, I'm gonna go ahead on and bring the rest. So I want to read this part that you have on the screen. It says, as women, we have been opposed by men's physical advantages over us since the beginning of humankind. But now, in today's modern societies, the tables are finally turning, especially with the advent of the internet and social media and the economy's transition from manufacturing to information. Women are leveraging the natural advantages, e.g., social skills, emotional intelligence, and communication to gain power. In that phrase right there is a whole lot that I could dig on. I want to thank my mod, Rage Against the Machine, for being here today. I love you, brother. I love Rage. Thank you for being here. All right, go ahead and do what you got to do.
So okay, shout out to Ms. Lockhart. Long live her father. That's an unfortunate situation for her, and I know that's why I really was kind of scared to have this conversation with her. But all in good faith and stuff like that. And shout out to the Black House, Akron Slim. Thank you for the Black Flags, brother. And shout out to all the Black House members who are now just tuning in. We get ready for the show. Okay, so this is a book. This guy reacted to this book. Well, I couldn't find this book nowhere. They the only one got this book. So I'm gonna be scanning through the main parts. Well, not the main parts. I'm gonna be scanning through the miscellaneous parts. And but I want to get real into this conversation. I think Miss Lockhart is the best person to help me dissect this book to get a better understanding of what this book is saying and how this book affected people that we actually know from the professional world, from the uh, successful world. So here we go.
The tables are. So let's just jump into this bullshit. I can't even believe this exists. Introduction. As I'm gonna do the voice for a little bit. As women, we have been oppressed.
As women, we have been oppressed.
But
You don't want
now,
to
in
finish?
today's modern society,
There you
the
go.
tables are finally turning. Okay, I can't do it the whole time. Especially with the advent of the internet and social media and the economy's transition from manufacturing to information, women are leveraging their natural advantages, e.g., social skills, emotional intelligence, and communication, to gain power. You've probably utilized these advantages to some degree already in one form or another. For example, as a child in school, I recall the boys using physical strength and aggression, e.g., punching, to bully girls. What the fuck? That was their power. Girls, on the other hand, use communication and accusation, e.g., spreading rumors to undermine boys. This is our power. Wow, dude. Look, for all the women watching, this is y'all, man. This is y'all's team. I'm sorry, dude. There's nothing I can say to try and confidential to protect from backlash. That means this book is so bad that if this person's name was on it, I, as the author, retain no responsibility. Oh my God, that means this is so bad. The person that wrote this doesn't want any responsibility. Similarly, I'm publishing this book under the pseudonym of Angela Confidential to protect from backlash. That means this book is so bad that if this person's name was on it, they'd get backlash for it. Wow. Let's just jump right into this. I can't even fucking believe it. The damn fundamentals. Let's begin with some introductions. We have three key friends or fundamentals that make it possible to destroy a man now. Damn well. It's important to know them well. Our first ally is Allison Allegation. Allegation can be so simple, effective, and easy to employ that it's elegant. An allegation is a claim, usually without proof. that someone has done something illegal or wrong, a claim at minimum requires nothing more than an assertion. For example, if I yell from a rooftop that the world is flat, I have successfully made a claim. Flat Earth, that's what you're going to use? Flat Earth? Really? Similarly, identifying wrongdoing requires only observation, recollection, or a minimal amount of imagination. Holy shit. Holy, oh my gosh. From lying to murder, any behavior that you've heard of, seen, experienced, or can think of that violates an ethical or legal standard can suffice for an allegation. However, it's the last part of what constitutes an allegation that makes it uniquely useful. No evidence is required. Oh my God.
So far, what do you think about that, Miss Lockhart?
Uh, let's just keep going.
You going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. So this is allegation. This was somebody alleged somebody did something without zero proof. All they got to do is just tell a picture and tell a story on what alleged happened. It's not necessarily saying it's true or false. It's just alleged story.
This independence from proof allows you to make an allegation about any man doing anything without being encumbered by a need for facts. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't even believe this is real. This is it. This is the one that they used. This is what Amber Heard and Evan Rachel Wood used right here. Let's read that again. This independence from proof allows you to make an allegation about any man doing anything without being encumbered by a need for facts. Holy shit. These women are out of their fucking mind, bro. Oh my God. But how can something as intangible as the spoken word without evidence have enough merit or power to damn? Admittedly, if left completely on her own, Allison allegation has relatively little power. That's where our other two friends, Mary Media and Arthur Authority, oh my God. Mary Media, our second ally, encompasses just about any means of communication. Media can be as elementary as whispers of gossip, although nowadays the term most often refers to mass communication platforms such as TV, internet, or mainstream media networks. Mainstream media. I'm starting to get angry. Such as Twitter and Facebook, which you will soon see are especially well suited to damn. Oh my God, I know this is going to piss me off. So how does Mary Media help Allison allegation? Well, interestingly, they help each other. You've probably heard the philosophical question: if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, did it make a sound? Although the answer to that question is still debated, it's certain that if an allegation is made and no one knows about it, it has no power. Fortunately, however, the opposite is also true. The more people who know about an allegation, the more powerful it becomes. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. This is fucking ridiculous.
I hate the
Thankfully for Allison allegation and for our purposes, the modern mainstream media excel at spreading information far and wide. They do it to make money, lots of money from advertisers. Yet advertisers need more than just a way to reach people. They also need a way to get people to pay attention to their advertisements and ultimately buy products. This is where media content comes in. Media content can be videos, website posts, breaking news, and so on. Anything that garners interest. And it's no secret that scandal attracts people's interest especially well. Sex sells. Women saying it. Sex sells. So the next time a feminist wants to talk about objectifying women, you can fucking eat than anything else outrageous. That's why scandalous content in the mainstream media has increased over the years. That's also why Mary Media helps Allison allegation. Scandalous allegations attract people's interest. Interested people with advertisements. Advertisements sell products, and it all makes Mary Media money. Jeez. However, fascinatingly, while the mainstream media profit from proliferating allegations, they bear little responsibility for doing it. Apparently, as long as the media mention that the scandal is an allegation, they are relatively safe from legal repercussions. Voice opinions and unsubstantiated claims. Further, the media can always attest that they are not making the allegation, rather they are just reporting it. But in truth, the media actually do help make the allegation by how they report it. Oh my God. You probably know how to say something you can convey greater meaning than what you can say. For example, I could say I'm happy, but if I scream it angrily, people are much more likely to believe I'm upset. With that in mind, try listening carefully how the mainstream media say the word allegation when reporting a story. Either they say it in a positive tone as though it's something good, or they say it quickly as though it's insignificant. They also use the word allegation or alleged instead of using terms such as unsubstantiated claim or accusation without proof. To de-emphasize the evidence is lacking.
He's having an existential meltdown. Bless his heart.
Even more cleverly, after the media make an allegation popular by broadcasting it far and wide, they then circle back later and broadcast how so many people are talking about it. Further, they support the people who make allegations by promoting them as courageous for coming forward. Oh my God. Oh my God. These tactics get even more people interested and encourage others to make similar claims. Finally, the media then.
Okay, so
Good.
so this really does tie into my portion of today's show. It really honestly does, because he's absolutely right. It's how you present the information, and it's how the information is doled out to the citizenry, because of the fact that people trust media and anything that they can, hear, or anything that they can see. So yeah, it does. And there are a lot of people who have, who can never recover their reputations. They can never recover their livelihood. They can never recover their family. They can never recover friendships because of allegations. And it is amazing to me that we do utilize that term, allegations or allegedly. I know we use it in this forum only because we have to protect ourselves, especially since we saw Tasha K get sued by Cardi B. And this forum, we make sure that we lay it out there that, hey, the information is alleged. And the only reason why it's alleged is because even if we have proof that it is true, we can't mess with them. We can't roll with those individuals who have, allegedly done things. So what he's saying is right, but it's also in line with something that America was not able to do years ago, and that was to use media in any form for propaganda against the American citizenry. Many, many, many moons ago, when we had different laws that protected us from being bamboozled, as it were. There is one that escapes my mind right now. I know that Rage is in the audience, and you guys right now, my mind has not been all here because of my dad's passing. So I know that I've been a little off. But what I will say is, it's the Smith-Mund Act. The Smith-Mund Act was an act that was instituted by our government to prevent the United States of America from utilizing propaganda that it had used in wartime on other countries' citizens, which means they were able to manipulate the news in those foreign countries where we had a presence in, where we were a part of the fight, right? So what we were able to do in that case is go into foreign lands, drop information, little papers, leaflets and stuff, and push propaganda to sort of shift the citizenry to our side as a reason why we were present, that we needed to save them, that we needed to give them democracy, that they were not free because we were there and we were having this war really to help them because their country or their government had done X. And that's the reason why we're here. You need us here. That was changed under the seated president at the time, Barack Obama. Years later, that was changed. And it was the repealing of that act and then the tweaking, as it were. So he removed that portion that stated that could not be done in our country. It could be done in foreign lands. He tweaked it to, okay, yeah, you can do it here. Now you can do it here. And so what we've seen since that act has been altered, edited, and changed is a myriad of stories, just a barrage of information hitting the media, and i.e. hitting the human or the American public that are not necessarily true. I'm going to let that sink in, because if it's the exact same propaganda that we were using against other countries to subdue them and to tell them, hey, look, we're here to bring you democracy. We're here to liberate you. You poor idiot. You don't even know you're bound. Well, you need us. We're here to help you. So just sit back calmly while your bread goes up to $12 a loaf and your eggs are now $22.50. You can't do anything. You just sit back, because while we're here to help you. While all of this stuff is being destroyed, while your nuclear family, the nucleus of the family, mother, father, children, are being absolutely dismantled, women, we need you to be against those guys because they're oppressing you. And men, we need you to be against that woman because you know you need that. You have to have at least 12 women. You can do it. So all of that stuff then lifted, and now it's here in the United States. And so since that time, we have seen a barrage. We have been barraged. We have been pelted and pilted upside the head with a lot of lies that are not real, things and stories and things that we see in the media, not remembering that the same exact Hollywood that creates movies for us to see are a part of the media, and we're able to see things now, and we take it as gospel and truth because what? We saw it in the internet. We saw it on the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock news, on the large channels, on the large networks. And so that is the reason why this is so amazing to me. And I see how he's flipping out about it. But hey, you know what? It's what it is. I need you guys to make sure that you please hit the like button, share it out if possible, because once we get into all of the rest of this, we're going to all really, really have some things that we need to think about, because this gentleman, and I'm thankful that you brought this to the table today. You did shock me. I did not expect this. But this is the reason why you have men and women put in jail right now today because of what somebody said and what they alleged. And here is the danger. People are now being judged by the court of public opinion. And when you have court of public opinion, there is no person who is not affected by the court of public opinion. Why? Because if you're pulling your jury pool from the public, and your jury pool has a TV or an internet connection or a cell phone or anything, they're already being tampered with because of the court of public opinion. And public opinion will not only vilify somebody who's innocent, crucify somebody who did nothing, but will also sway those individuals who would have otherwise thought with their mind for themselves to believe what they saw on the internet. Go ahead. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. To add to that, Ms. Lockhart, this alone affected so many. I think the men that's been arrested and that's in prison now, I think is because they actually in this book they had a whole bunch of names: black men, white men, all types of men that has been affected by this. And I want y'all to really understand, for the people that's listening, a lot of us who I've been through this on here, a lot of people have been through this in real life. But now, since we have social media, only thing people have to do is come up here and make a claim. I have a baby mother of mine come up here and put out false allegations without zero proof. And the more she repeated, the more she touched my name to stuff and it get out there, it's gonna now everybody believing that. Now you got hundreds to thousands of people believing this. She didn't bring no proof. She didn't bring no evidence. And the word allegation is still could be dangerous because we do not hop on the word allegations. We don't use the words unsubstantiated or not verified information. We use the word alleged, and we do it so quickly because we want to share the story. A lie is way more entertaining than the truth. Nobody wants to hear a lie. And let's say a woman pull out a false story, an allegation on you. And that story, although it's a horrible story, but it's a fun story. It's a entertaining story. You want to know how the negative ending is. Almost like watching a movie, a dramatic movie, a drama movie, right? It's so you and don't let the story. She go in details. She paint a whole story. We have seen it was a woman that came up here and said her child did something to her.
Mm.
Her husband did something. Come find out it was her child. Uh,
Mm.
the brick lady went viral. So
Mm.
they paint these stories, and now the alleged the accuser sometimes don't even know the story existed. In many occasions, like when I was alleged, I didn't even know these stories existed. But next thing you know, people ringing my phone and you did this. Now you got everybody, and you got everybody saying that I did something, did this. I'm like, well, the person that put out these alleged allegations, how come y'all not trying to fact check? But they don't want to fact check that because this story is a good story. So if you come up with the truth and you come up with factual information of the truth, you just pour water and bleach on their parade now. And they don't want that. So a lot of people, they're going to want to believe these stories existed because it's fun, it's entertainment, and something about people that we love a horrible ending. We do this with black folks, especially black folks. We do this to each other all the time. We low key like a horrible ending for people, right? Like the dude with the he had book bag. He had left his kids. Go in there. Don't come and tell me nothing. I said go in there.
Okay.
And he left his kids,
Uh-huh.
and that's why he go look for a job. People was praying that he got arrested, and they want to see his kids leaving, getting taken. So we low key pray for the worst outcome to fit our entertainment, because a lot of us we just love the horrible ending. So
I think it's human nature. And that's the sad part. And not only is it human nature, listen, we've been conditioned to look for the worst because of fast reels. And let me tell you why I'm saying that. Everything you're saying is an innate thing in humans. They've always been, we've always run to the big story, right? But here's the thing. We don't even know where our thirst for messed up information comes from. It started, of course, when we were watching the horror movies or whatever, but what they did is decided to take that same exact theme that was going on in another arena, couple it with those horror films and the violence and all of that, and put them into fast running reels. There was something called MK Ultra that they used in tandem with drugs, but they also used fast running reels to desensitize the person's psyche. So that went from being used in that arena to now being used widespread. It's spread far and wide now. And those little fast reels are things that shorten the attention span. It prevents you from actually wanting to hear the long story, because if the story goes more than a minute, eventually you're going to find out the truth, because some of that story is not going to make sense to you after you get into it, right? You're going to start your natural ability to think and to connect the dots are going to be like, wait, something's not right. You did what? And then what happened? Wait a minute. If that's happened, this happened. So they give you 30-second quickness, just quick, 30 seconds to a maximum of a minute. Just 30 seconds to a maximum of a minute. Hit you.
And it can destroy your life.
Lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie after lie. They throw a little bit of truth. Why? Because if it's all lie, that thing's going to kick in and you're not going to believe everything. So they give you one reel of truth. And then they throw more lies and lies and lies. And then vile, vulgar words and things that you'd never think about. Things that hit you indelibly in your mind that you cannot unsee, that you cannot unhear. So these things are done on purpose. Listen, every single thing that you see that is done in mass is always done with a purpose in mind. It's nowhere, no shape, no form has it been done by accident.
Let me ask you a question with that. Like, for example, the big story, Puff Daddy, Diddy. What if we found out that none of that stuff took place? Don't you know how many people going to be disappointed?
Right.
They have invested so much emotions and beliefs, time, energy, and hating this man. if it come to find out that none of that stuff existed, people gonna be so disappointed to the point where they not gonna accept it. Right? This is why a lot of men say, when men get falsely accused of anything, it's always say he might didn't do that, but he probably did something. The reason why people say that because they was too busy enjoying
The
this story.
demise.
This story. They don't want the truth come out. They don't want to hear that, especially if they don't like the person.
Right.
Especially if they don't like the person. Oh, they will throw you in the flames so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Especially so they wanna hold on to that. And then the fact that they will be disappointed that this stuff that it turned out that none of this stuff happened. They should be celebrating if it didn't take place.
Well, then they'd have to have some personal responsibility and understanding how they believed a lie. Because see, then that would be here's the thing. Every bit of this comes back to personal responsibility. And if that were uncovered, nobody wants to accept the personal responsibility that they elected to believe a lie. And dealing with his topic, since you brought him up, you're absolutely right. People will say, well, he didn't do this, but I'm sure he did that. And we all know that he did do some of that. The problem that I see, and to your point, is that right now we got all kinds of people throwing stuff into the hat. Yeah, he did this to me. Yeah, he did this to me. Yeah, he did that to me. And so I made a joke with my son. I was like, well, I was at a party in California and stuff. And Diddy was there. He gave me an invitation and I went. And I need to go see Gloria Allred, and I need to see Gloria because I just know when I had a beverage, somebody put something in it, and I do remember a little slippery feeling when I left the party. I think somebody took advantage of me, and I'm gonna sue. So what am I saying? Even though I'm doing it in jest and cracking a joke, what I'm saying is now it's opened up the field to everybody to go and throw their hat in the ring to get something from the situation. And it cheapens the room when you have people who really were affected. It cheapens the room and it prevents them from being able to have the 100% vindication of what was done to them, be vindicated and say, hey, I was telling the truth all along. And it also prevents them from having the time and the opportunity to heal the way they should, because now they're being lumped in, especially when they uncover these people who are liars. Now they've been lumped in. And now there is some skepticism. But again, even with that, throwing in the false allegations, as you're stating, that cheapens the room. And it's done from the other side that would gain by nullifying the statements that were made by the individuals who started this in the first place, the individuals who levied it. Listen, nobody's going to get as much money as Cassie did.
Right.
Nobody. And for all we know, she was paid opposition that was put there on purpose to receive exactly what she got from the dude that was known to do what he did. So nobody's going to get as much money as the original person because she did not go as a part of first off, ain't no more money left. I don't care what people think about people in the entertainment industry. Ain't no more money left. That's just my opinion. Go ahead.
So, okay, I'll be there. So here's another thing to add to that. Let's just say one person could be telling the truth or partial to the truth. Never going to seem like people don't tell the full truth because they want their stuff to be believed. So they're not going to tell everything then because now it's the nuances going to get exposed. So everybody going to always wash up a story. But how a lot of these stories get believed, this is how you can take somebody down with power that's have power and you don't really got much power. All you have to do is take them down with numbers. Not all of these other people coming in and saying this. I bet P. Diddy don't even know half of these people. I think they was set there. This man was literally talking about starting a political party and he has the means, he has the money, he has the friends, billionaire friends. So he has some type of threat of that. So it seems like when you get to a certain level, every time a person try to say they want to do something else goes against the grain, they always get these allegations put on them. So now when you got all of these people just saying that this man did this one little bitty old man who are powerful and people People begs to be in his presence. All of these women, they would do. I mean, we have seen women go to strip clubs and do the most for $150 in singles. You just to get accepted by P. Diddy alone, right? To get accepted by P. Diddy alone is like top tier for a lot of these women, right? So I do think the more people you get to put, because every time I hear about an allegation, it seems like this man done did this to 50 people. Look at Bill Cosby, 40 some women. Come on now, like, and then a few of them came out and said that sorry, I lied. See, the problem is not all of them coming out saying that they lied. So this is how a lot of those stories come out, and a lot of men get affected.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. And then, here's the thing from my standpoint, from where I sit, I think it's important to remember that money does corrupt people. And see, here's a very important piece. When you are in that environment in the entertainment field, there are a lot of people who do, on average, conduct themselves in the fashion with which he did. I think that and to use what you just brought up as a point of what his endeavors were, I think that when you aspire to have those type of endeavors and you have that kind of background where you were self-admittedly running around with a camera, with cameras all over the place and filming everything you did, that you forget that you ain't them. The them you've been hanging out with are them, but you ain't them. And now, as soon as you do say that you're going to aspire to do something like that, they already got the evidence because you did it yourself. He did it himself. When I think of Kim Porter, when I think of even people like Heavy D, when I think of people to include Wendy Williams, I think of a lot of people that this guy really honestly did have something to do with a portion of what went on with them, allegedly. Okay. You got to throw that out there. Why? Because I ain't got no money. Not like that. I ain't got no money. But my point is, I think that a lot of these individuals that we can say have put themselves in those situations do have a great responsibility. We have to take that piece that I just talked about earlier, and that is taking the accountability. He has to be held accountable for the things that he did. The unfortunate piece is that there's so many allegations. We don't know now what the lie is from the truth, except for the people who are on video, audio, being abused. And I think that from a judge's standpoint, they should start by throwing out the stories that have no tangible evidence to them. If it doesn't have any evidence, it's the judge's job to start to throw out the allegations that have no validity, right? And I really don't even like using him as an example because of the fact that I do know people in the music industry, having been a part of that myself, that tell a different story. Listen, what he did, what they have alleged that he did was nothing different than what was going on in the music industry when my mother was training me on how to behave when you go to an after party, how to go in and just show your face and have a glass of empty water, that you have a glass of water, clear glass of water that you drew yourself. And if you set it down, don't pick it back up. Okay. If you don't, if you don't pull the water yourself, don't set it down. If you set it down, leave it there. And what you do is you go through the room, you show your face, especially if you've been a part of a production. When I was a part of like Dreamgirls or whatever, everybody with the next day, part of the cast would be like, how come we didn't see you last night? I was like, oh, I was there. What I do is I make sure I walk through the room and show my face as she taught me. I only have a glass of water. And if I set the glass of water, that's it. I don't pick it up and I don't receive anything from anybody else. These were stories that she was telling me and rearing me in the 80s and in the late 70s on how to behave and how to conduct myself when I went in those arenas. Show your face and go to your hotel or back to your room. That is how I was reared. Why? Because this instance that we're looking at while you're discussing the allegations portion is nothing new for that arena. The music industry was like that. She even warned me. And after she was dead and gone, the statement that she taught me that seared in my mind was presented to me in the 80s. And that was after a gentleman listened to me sing, and he goes, "Oh, you have a great look. You have a great voice. You sing better than a lot of people I've ever heard before. Oh my God, you're great." Now, let me ask you, what would you do if somebody approached you and said that in order for you to make it in this business, that you had to sleep with somebody? I could not believe that that phrase was being used, and my mother was already dead and gone. And I utilized just what she taught me. It was like instant recall. It came back to my mind, and I said, I sing too well to have to use my body to get money. That was the last time I had ever seen that producer. And then any subsequent producer that knew him after that, "Oh, I heard you're difficult." That's the term they use when they know you're not ready to play the game. And if you're not ready to play the game, you ain't gonna be making no money in that industry, because even though it looks big to us, it's a very tight and small game. It's a very tight and small team. It's not a big Hollywood, and we can get into the spiritual aspects of even the term. Hollywood is a club. Either you're part of it or you're not. And Hollywood really stands for entertainment. So it goes everywhere, from not only the music part of it, the dancing part of it, it goes to the musicians. It also goes to the basketball player, the football player, the baseball player. Anything that media can attach itself to, that's a part of Hollywood. And I'll leave that there. Let's go ahead and wrap this piece up. We're already 41 minutes into the podcast, and I want to thank everybody for being here. And hey, my brother is here. My brother. Man, stop you and your feelings about this subject. Because you got falsely accused, your false accusation doesn't mean Diddy didn't do it. Diddy.
Diddy.
Diddy. The diddler did it.
Let me continue with it so I can.
Let's wrap this up. Yes, I'm with you. Let's roll.
All right.
Cite the increasing number of allegations and growing public outrage that they helped create as being too numerous to be ignored, or as evidence of truth. Oh my God. In a court of law, a man is considered, oh, here it is. Look at this. Here it is right here. In a court of law, a man is considered innocent until proven guilty. But in the court of media managed public opinion, a man serially accused of scandal is guilty until proven innocent. There it is. You just fucking saw Evan Rachel Wood right there. The increasing number of allegations that how many fucking
This guy's got a potty mouth that I have, but okay, let's roll.
Finally, the media then cite the increasing has 16 accusers. He's guilty. And growing public outrage. Marilyn Manson, increasing number of allegations that how many Marilyn Manson has 16 accusers. He's guilty. And growing public outrage that they helped create as being too numerous to be ignored, or as evidence of truth. In a court of law, a man is considered innocent until proven guilty. But in the court of media managed public opinion, a man serially accused of scandal is guilty until proven innocent. I fucking knew it. I knew it. This is it. This is it. In this way, an allegation does not require evidence to damn, because through media manipulation, it becomes its own evidence.
Okay.
Fuckers. Thousands, even millions of people can become organized against one man. Likewise, the evidence and public perception of guilt created by Allison allegation and Mary Media's synergy can become so prominent and powerful that our third ally, Arthur Authority, has a duty to step in. California Senate, Congress, and its authority that really helps us put the destroy in damn. Authority is defined as any person or organization, California Senate, Congress, that has the power to control, direct, punish, and so on, which is exactly the kind of power we need to damn. Examples include police, judges, bosses, HR departments, board of directors, teachers, professors, university councils, licensing and regulatory agencies, and so on. Ultimately, it's authority that plays the final role in condemning a man.
Or anybody, not just a man.
So what we need to do, what do we need to know about authority to damn? Well, to begin, it's important to understand that Arthur Authority is an artifact of patriarchy and chivalry. As Daddy Knight, what the fuck? He takes pride in his role as guardian and savior, especially of the weak, mistreated, violated, and so on. He strives to be the hero who saves the damsel in distress. In other words, authority caters to victims. And nothing gets Arthur Authority's attention more than a call to action to save victims. Man, I am so pissed off right now. I just want to scream, and I just want to throw my phone across the room. Right, needs to perceive you as weak. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that? They need to perceive you as weak. Why do you think these women always
Huh?
No, I was saying hello to Anarchy. This cat, I'm not gonna get flagged because this dude don't know how to control his
Yeah.
emotions. Okay, I think we got his point. And I agree with everything that he is saying, to the point that, obviously, while he's saying these things, he's actually recalling incidences and things that have taken place. But he's saying pretty much what you and I have already stated, in that, yeah,
Now,
we do know that.
here go the
public-
names.
Mhm.
Here go the names that a lot of people got affected by it. Jeffrey
Okay, yeah,
Tambor.
let's look at that. Jeffrey Tambor, an actor accused of
Oh,
misconduct,
oh, my bad. My bad.
Templeton Fish. It's okay. NPR chief editor accused. Yeah, but see, here's the thing. What and even with this, I don't get in line with all of these cats' names that he's put here that are false. Because see, these are the people. You got people. Fish. We already know what the last name Fish come from. We already know that, or what is this? Orskis. We already know where these names come from. Andy Dick, the comedian accused of harassment, fired on a film. Jeff Hoover. Listen, even though I appreciate this man's vigor and him bringing the book and the topic and all this stuff up, I appreciate it. But see, because I've been so bruised by the whole idea of the media push, I know that there's misinformation, even with the nicest people, or even with the people who have the the what we think of as they have this passion and they're here to tell us this. But even in that, something stank. Even in this, something stinks. And here's why. Because you ain't gonna tell me that all these cats that's got all of these letters behind their name and all of this money and all of this stuff ain't never did none of this stuff. In fact, if you did one thing, you wrong. You may not have done all 12, but if you've done one of these things and the person who has accused you is standing saying, this happened to me. This happened to me.
Well, those 12 other things helps this story because now, if you get accused of 12 things, at least one or two of them gonna find you guilty of. So that's what police do when they pull you over. They give you a whole bunch of charges. Something gonna stick. The reason why you got all of these charges to make something stick. Hopefully, the bigger stuff stick.
But see,
Right?
that's what
They
doesn't
throw a bunch
happen.
of charges at you, and a lot of stuff be created charges. So
They
it don't
minimize it.
necessarily mean that you
Yeah,
did one of it.
absolutely.
It just means that they giving you a bunch of charges, and you got to finesse and figure and fight through all of them. So you're not gonna win all of them though.
No, you're
So
not going to win
something
all
gonna
of them.
stick.
You're not going to win all of them. You're not going to win all of them, which is really, and you know what? I'm going to say this because
But that
this
don't
is
mean you
the,
guilty of it. The ones
doesn't
that
mean
you
it.
didn't win.
Doesn't mean it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But for me, this whole topic that you brought up is an exceptional segue into who has been vilified in the most recent past. Listen, while we're going to start talking about our stepfathers and necessity and good stepfathers and bad stepfathers, we know that there are several people who've not even had the situation to have a stepfather who have taken the platform of damn to be stepfathers. Don't be a stepfather. If you're going to be a stepfather, you got a problem. You shouldn't be a stepfather. You're an idiot if you go out and be a stepfather. There are a lot of people who are in this chat right now who may have had a stepfather, and that stepfather may have been bad. Their stepfather may have been exceptional. I am one of those individuals who are a product of a step family, and I thank God every single day for the fact that I had my stepfather that I lost at the top of this week. Listen, my birth father is still alive. He's still here in this plane. My stepfather married my mom with 3 kids, and it saved our lives. And now that he's gone, some of the pieces to my life that I had little check marks beside because I needed to figure out some things, those things are now being answered. So today we're going to look at stepfathers. Today we're going to look at just having a standard conversation. This isn't anything that's going to be this isn't something that's going to be orchestrated because it never could have been. My dad, after you and I were on the air last Sunday, the next morning is when I learned that he was gone, that he had died. And the odd thing was, I heard a terrible storm that next morning, and it was the most odd and unique. About 3, 4 in the morning here, Central. the weirdest storm that I've ever encountered. And I even said, wow, that is some weird howling and the thunder. I'd never heard anything like that. And so several hours later, I get a message. And the question that I had was, when I was told, my response was, when? What time? When and what time? Why? Because I know that nature speaks to me. I know me. Now, it may not be for you, but it does to me. It's the exact same time that that storm was going on that he left here. He left of a seizure in his sleep. And there's a lot of mitigating circumstances surrounding that. I won't deal with here because all of us will have questions whenever we lose somebody that was not in a hospital, that we weren't expecting to get sick. You know, a lot of those things go into it. But I'm going to tell you some of the things that he taught me when I was a young girl. And now, after him being gone, the pieces have been put together. And I now understand totally why I am the way I am. He was my favorite person, JP. He was my favorite person. I emulated him in a lot of ways. He loved science because he was a scientist. He was into all kinds of things, but the things that he was most is consistent. That's one thing that I don't have that he has. And that's the one thing that I desperately want. So much so that I put myself on a small regimen. And that little regimen, even though it's not a big one, it's one that's worked most recently. And so I remember him every single night before we'd go to sleep. We would all be in our beds, but you know, you're not asleep, you're laying there because they said go to bed.
Right.
So I would hear him walk through the house, and I would hear him. You could hear the clicking of the locks. You could hear him double checking, opening and closing the door. And then you hear the top lock go and the bottom lock again. And then you hear windows in the kitchen, because my bedroom was off the kitchen and off on the patio. So I would hear the windows being tugged. I would hear him going through the house. He was consistent like that every night. Every night. And every night before the trash was due, my brothers was pulling the garbage cans around to the front. Every time the trash was due, he was consistent. Every morning I would hear the shower water, then I'd hear his teeth brushing, then I'd hear him go walk down the hall past our room, my room. I'd hear him walk past the hall. I hear him go in the kitchen. I hear the coffee pot start. And while the coffee pot is going, he's outside. You hear the garage go up, then you hear the car start. It was systematic. He was systematic to a just sweet perfection. It was sweet perfection. And it was those things that he utilized to run our home, having had this wife that he met with 3 children and then later had 2 children with her. He was an outstanding father. Now, I want to get into some topics, and we're going to use this as the catalyst to have this conversation, because there are a lot of people that are talking about the stepdads and how, you know, some men are stupid and how they're going to be there. You know, I'm going to tell you that you're an idiot or you're this or you're that if you go and allow yourself to be a stepfather. You got to really watch some of the information that you get, especially if the person hasn't lived their life and if they have never encountered what they're talking about. And then they'll even come back later and say, well, you know, you don't have to be poor to tell somebody not to be poor, or you can tell somebody, you know, to do X, Y, or Z. You don't have to have had that in order for you to tell them. You can tell them, but you cannot come here in a time frame where I know that there are individuals that have been dropping seeds into our culture. The only place they can get us left now is within social media. Let me tell you something. There was something that was called a kinsman redeemer for those people who like to be in the Bible. Kinsman redeemer, mother was married, father died. After the father died, a kinsman, somebody who was related, would step in and take care of that wife, those kids, and be the spouse to that person. Now, we're not looking at a kinsman redeemer in that regard as we look at everyday life right now, but it's based on that premise that you will find a stepmother or a stepfather. Okay?
So,
Go ahead.
so okay, dear God, please let my words come out to be pleasant and not offensive. Please, God. No, okay. I don't think okay, when I come for stepfathers, I don't come from the impact that they have on the children. I have 5 of them. and I was real close to one of them named Glenn. His nephew actually taught me and my big brother the streets, and we appreciated. You know, he was a fun stepdad. So, like the same impact that I don't go after the impact of the stepfathers, how that they can impact kids' lives. But what I go after, I would rather hear you tell that story of how closeness you are with your biological father, because it seems like that part has been replaced. Fathers, essentially, the need for fathers has been replaced. A lot of people will say that no, that's not the case, but that is the case. Anytime, because I can't imagine all of us brag about our stepmothers compared to our mamas. Why? Because we was raised up. Majority of people was raised up with mama, so we can't fathom not having mama, or having a woman that's playing mama. Right? A lot of us don't know what that feel like. We was blessed to have our biological mama. So only thing I be pushing for is for kids to have their biological parents, just like we have a biological mama. I prefer that attachment, that bond, will be with the people that you was put here by, instead of. And this is no shade This is no shade to the stepfathers, because yes, they do impact people, but it came to the point where now this is all is being produced, especially in the black community. So this is what's being produced to us. This is what's given to children. So 9 times out of 10, if you're a black child, especially if your mom and them is in an unfortunate situation, you're not going to be raised with your biological father. It's always going to be some other man taking care of you. Now, yes, you can get close to that man. You can get close to anybody that live in your home, right? But I we never got the chance to have that. You know how we got a bond with our mamas. You feel when you come in a home with your biological parents, it grounds you. It make you feel like you it make you feel like you belong. This is yours. This is your mama. This is your parent. They blood is your blood, right? I prefer kids to be raised up under that foundation and experience that. But now we have got to accept it, and we got immune to the something that was already problematic. When you don't have a father in your home, that's problematic out the gate. Yeah, you can
So
get
let
a
me ask you a question then, because there's a lot of effed up people out there, and I'm gonna have to stop because I have to ask this question. If that's the case, not saying you, but a lot of people know that, then why do people even stop others from living their lives? And if they have elected to be a step mother or a father, why does anybody have anything to say about it if they've never been in that circumstance or situation? That's the one thing that I have a problem with. I was thumbing through
I'm in
stuff
agreement.
earlier today, and I found a story, and I was like, you know what? And it made me mad because the reason why it made me mad was, wait a minute, yo, you never experienced this.
Mm-hmm.
You never experienced it. And I don't give a rip whose fault it was or why the circumstance was what it was or why it even existed. What do you got to do with it? It ain't got nothing to do with you. You never experienced, and I'm not talking about you. This
Right.
person's never experienced it. This person was raised with two parents. This person has the mindset of, you know what, I'm going to follow suit with how my family raised me. And I think that's a good way to be, right? I agree with them for that. They took the personal responsibility to raise their family the way that they were raised. Okay, to have their children the way that they had their children. And that's great. So, guess what? That's what you can talk about.
Right.
That's what you can discuss. If you was a farmer and all you dealt with was cows and chickens, guess what? You got some good knowledge about them cows and chickens. I recommend that's what you stick to. But you don't go over here and talk to somebody who got fruits and vegetables, and that's what they do. Now you're both farmers, but one deal with livestock and the other one deal with the fruit and the other one deal with the potatoes. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Because there's a lot of people that listen to the trash that's being promulgated within our community from high up that's being dropped down into this forum. And then you got people who are out there watching and understand that if you have a voice and if you have a platform that you are on, that you have enough following, they can give you a little bit of, can interject there a little bit. They can sway your personality just a little bit because you got a mouthpiece. And that mouthpiece can be very dangerous if you ain't living what you talking about. If you ain't
And,
never lived it, if you ain't never got it, if you ain't never had it, if you ain't never had a stepmama, stepdaddy, step uncle, step cousins, I suggest you find a lane, stick your rump in it, and stay there.
I agree with you.
Because when I hear it and I see it, it turns my stomach. Why? Because you need to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
You need to shut up and let that man do what that man is going to do. Let that woman do what that woman is going to do. Stick to the lakes and streams that you used to. If you want to sell me something you made. Don't come selling me nothing and all you do is run around and pick and nitpick and take other ideas and stories. It tells me something when I see you talking about little stories and other little bitty things and you're nitpicking on everybody else's genre. What you do? What you offer? What are you about? So when I talk about our stepfathers a necessity, apparently they are. But it does not remove the fact that there are some pretty tacky men out there that have been stepfathers, and some of them have decided to become stepfathers simply because they feel like they can take advantage of an ignorant woman who decided that she wasn't going to do any investigation on this person, but bring that cat around her kids. All of us have been wickedly, wickedly deceived and have done that at one time or another until we say, hey, well, wait a minute. Something ain't right about this person. I made a big mistake. Let me get this cat or chick away from me. I do not like it. I do not like it. My stepfather raised us. My mother had married at 15, had me at 17. I was her oldest. But let me tell you guys some harsh truths today. And that's what we about today. We about uncovering truths. Because I said to you earlier on that there's often the time after somebody died where you start hearing truth. Because now everybody, the restrainer is gone. The restrainer is gone. Now that the restrainer is gone, everybody can relax and say, well, you know. Well, you know. My stepfather made sure that I never looked another man in the eye unless it was him or my brothers. Now that he's gone, I understand why. But that was what I lived by. If it was not my daddy, if it was not my brothers or my immediate family, I never looked another man in the eye.
Why is that?
Because that is the door to intimacy. There was a lot of things that happened while I was a kid, while I was watching, us grow up. Lots of stuff that happened, things that he was not privy to that was going on with myself, that my mom had brothers. Those are the ones that, had he known what was happening, he probably would have ended in jail. All right. Strong engineer. He was a prior Air Force man from the Air Force, right? Intellectual, went to UCLA for psychiatry, teaching psychiatry, but he also was an engineer in the military, and that is inevitably what he did. He was a mathematician who was off the charts. But my mother didn't have great discernment. My mother was a heck of a singer. She was an outstanding woman. But she allowed a lot of people around us, a lot of times, especially prior to her getting with him, that were no good for her children. So our earliest memories were things that were not healthy or wholesome. So here's the thing. This is not to vilify my mama. My mama was a human being, just like you, just like me. We make mistakes. And as soon as we remember that, it prevents us from being able to be a judge in this case, but it allows us to look at our surroundings and check ourselves. That's what it does. When you start to realize that people that you trusted in your life made mistakes, then it helps you navigate through this place, through this plane while you're still here, right? And so it helped me understand why he took me under his wing the way that he did. Why he told me whenever you're at home and your husband is at work and you got a repairman come into your house, don't you let that man in your house. If you let him in, you make sure somebody else is with you, and you keep that front door open until he's done with his work and let him go on about his business. He taught me those things, but I never understood why. I just love the fact that he spent time with me and he told me, but now I do. I
Why
get
did
it
he tell you that? Why did he teach you that?
because that is how things can happen. You can, the false allegations that you're talking about, one, okay. B, they could take advantage of you. Something could happen. All right. But then also, no man is supposed to be in your house if your husband's not there, to include his brothers, his friends. If your husband's at work, I was taught, and his friend come to the door and you see it's his car outside, let him knock. Don't answer the door. He already know where your husband is. What is he doing there? Let him knock. When your husband get home, you let him know, hey, Bubba came over here. Please let Bubba know what time you work and tell him don't come back over here, because Bubba already know. So there was a lot of things he taught me that I didn't understand. I did not understand. Now I get it. I get it. I just practiced what he taught me, but now I understand where it came from. Let me tell you something. He spared us. He saved us. Not that he was a savior of sorts, but he did spare us from a lot, because he did marry my mom. When he married my mom, he ran our household very well. He ran the finances very well. Prior to getting with my mom, I remember having lights out. Prior to getting with my mom, I remember us not eating.
So I don't know. You want to get involved with your biological father?
Okay, let's go there. And that's what that's the part that really jacks me up. Because when I think about people who say, well, it's supposed to be the mother and the father. Yeah, we know that. And in a perfect world, it would be. But this world ain't perfect. When you come into this dimension, it's got its own load of trash.
Mm-hmm.
When you in this dimension, it's got its own load of trash. This world ain't perfect. So what I believe is, and I'm gonna put a button right here. What I believe is that because I had a purpose, it was necessary for me to have Lee Hill Sr. in my presence and in my life, to steer me and guide me, to help me become who I am and greater. Because had I been without him, had I been in that perfect mother-father scenario that everybody wants to tout, having that guy as my, the one who led the household, I wouldn't be here talking to you right now. I wouldn't be me. I wouldn't, right? I wouldn't exist like this, because of the desire and the thirst for my mom to have the music industry that she had, right? As much as I love her and I love my mother. See, one thing I learned about my mom was the fact that she was a young mother who was doing the best that she knew how to do. She didn't come here with no manual to teach her how to have kids and how to have a marriage, and one marriage that failed and then have kids after that. Did nobody give her no manual on how to do that? And everybody wants to say, well, you got the Bible. Really? Everybody got the Bible? When did you get the Bible? And before you got the Bible, did you behave like you had the Bible? No. Did you behave like you had the Quran before you had the Quran? No, you did not. Did you behave like you understood Confucius before you got Confucius? No. So stop it. Wake up. Knock it off. Knock it off. You didn't know none of that. You didn't rock none of that. We all came here willing to learn, if we were willing to learn. And that is what she did. She did the best that she could with the education that she had. She had the best that she could with the knowledge that she had attained. She gave the knowledge that she had to us. She died at 35 years old. And this woman was brilliant, but her life was disrupted as well. And because her life was disrupted when she was a child, just like it short change and short circuits all of us, when we go through something, she was short circuited as well. But he saw enough to know he loved us. He loved her in spite of anything that she had done. He wasn't a perfect man, but he was a man who was very consistent and who could see. And because he could see, and because he was older, he knew, only a few years, maybe 3 years older, he knew how to navigate, and he knew how to keep her in line with her real inner self, the child that she was never able to be. He knew how to allow her to grow. He taught her how to read, because she had to stop going to school in the fifth grade to take care of the 7 siblings that my grandmother had in Mississippi. So when people start to talk about step parents and whatnot, do you know the historicity? Do you know the history of this individual that you're talking about? Do you know what their lineage is? It doesn't matter that you want to vilify them for existing and having the problems and issues that they have. None of that matters, because I'm here to tell you that your reasoning is off. I'm here to let you know you ain't got a right to tell nobody not to be a stepmama, nobody not to be a stepdaddy. My mama was the baddest chick that I ever knew, because she understood how to be a mother. What it was for her, what she did is she matched what her hopes and dreams were with my father's ability to bring those things to fruition. And that is the reason why we were raised the way we were.
Can I ask you a question, Miss Lockhart?
Certainly.
Do you think you would have been in a better position if you would have had a stepmom, a prominent stepmom that's probably more wealthier, in a way better position than your biological mom? Do you think that you would have turned out even more better if you would
I
have had
think
a stepmom?
that I have to tell you that you're right there, and let me tell you why I say that. Because my stepmother, the one who was the married to my biological father, is that woman in my life right now. So when you hear me talk about how awesome this woman was, that's who she was. So I had the best of all worlds. I had an outstanding mother who was with me until I was 18. She died at 35. I had an exceptional stepfather who helped to raise and rear me and give me my thought process. He taught me how to write my speeches. He taught me everything about public speaking. He worked with me on history, which is the reason why I love history right now. He worked with me on science, which is the reason why I am a total nut when it comes to quantum physics. I love quantum physics. Anything dealing with time travel, anything dealing with, the questioning why, asking why about everything. He's the one who put that there. And I had the blessing after my mom passed to really have a good relationship with my birth father's wife. And now they're no longer together, but I still have that relationship with her because she was in my life since I was a baby girl, a little baby. But she didn't have the access to me because my father didn't want access to me. The cat had $25 a month to pay for child support. He paid it once, and that was it. But even in that, he had his own issues. So I think what I'm really trying to let everybody understand is this: he was a good man too, but he could only handle what he was able to handle at that moment. So every single person comes with a specific amount of F'dom in them. Every one of us got it. But it's only after we graduate, upon realizing who we are and the need to grow, that we're able to do better. What I'm saying is there's a larger design. There's a larger purpose for those individuals, especially the children who need that impressionable, that positive, impressionable person in their lives. I had a need for him to be in my life. And if he had been able to listen to some of the idiots running around here with cowbells today, it's no wonder where I'd be. Because there's a lot of idiots that make a lot of money talking to people, telling them, do this, do that. Why they count their money? Do this, do that. Do this and do that. And they don't give a rip because they'll be on another topic tomorrow. Whatever is the trend, that's where they're going to be tomorrow. They're going to be on that trend. Whatever that trend is, they're going to catch it and they're going to make a few dollars. Do this, do that. Oh, did I say that then? Well, I didn't mean that, because now I mean this. Why? Because now this is the trend. But when you live it, baby, and when you work through it, baby, now you come talk to this Southern woman about it. That's what I need you to do. When you live it and when you walk through it, then you come tell me something about it. But don't come over here talking nothing to nobody unless you lived it.
And I agree with that. So here's my question, because I really want to dissect this, because I'm big on this stuff. When I think about, and I want to take away from our parents and stuff like that, and just speak in general, because we got the public listen to us, and they might be living this as we speak.
I'm gonna be off mic for a minute, but go ahead. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here. Go ahead. I'm just off mic.
You okay, Miss Lockhart?
I'm straight. Let's roll. I'm straight. Elbows in the air, ready to roll. Let's go.
Um, do you think when it comes to a lot of these stepfathers that are good fathers, do you think they should have been the first biological father? What I
I don't
mean
think
is,
that it would have happened that way. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it would have happened that way. And the reason why I don't think it would have happened that way is you have to look at the timelines. You have to look at the ages of the individuals. You have to look at where this person was when they did X, when they did Y, and when they did Z. They may not have been able to, their paths may not have crossed the way that they should have. Okay. I'm a person that believes in parallel universes. I'm a person that believes that there are timelines that you're in, and you're in that place at that specific time for a specific reason. And I believe that if you put yourself in a situation prematurely, that you'll blur the lines, right? That those lines
Mhm.
will get blurred. And so that is the reason why I don't think that, even though look, I may have wished all along that he may have been my birth dad, but then when I learned that there were things that went on in his life that would have precluded him from being a good father at that moment, I understand why he came in my life when he did. He was created to do what he did. See, that's what people don't understand. He was created to do just what he did because he did it. My stepmom, sweetie pie that she is, she was created to do what she did. All right. She was created to do what she did. She was created to teach me the things that she taught me. The things that I know from her, they're irreplaceable. The things that I know from my mom, irreplaceable. So what I'm trying to say is there's an old statement that people make that I don't 110% agree with, but I'm going to use it just for context in this case. And that is, it takes a village. Oh, it takes a village. It takes a village. My mindset is no, it don't necessarily take a village. What it takes is a made up mind to do things right from the inception. But if for whatever reason you're immature at that point, and there are children and there are people. My mother was a married woman to my daddy at 17. She wasn't some single chick. Okay. All right. That whole phrase when people say it takes a village, it may not be the truth in that we need other people outside of our households to take care of us and just leave it on them. But it definitely is an adage that does need to be dissected. Because if it were not for the fact that my mother had gone through the things that she went through as a little girl, then I would not have had the insight and the knowledge and the wherewithal to realize wrong when I see it. When she told us the small stories that she gave us, I understood that what happened to her was wrong and that if it happened to me, it was wrong. My mistake was waiting later in life to tell her because I was already threatened with death if I told the things that happened to me that everybody on my channel already knows. If you go back and watch some of my earlier work, right? I was already threatened with death if I told. I was already threatened, and I was threatened that something was going to happen to her and my stepdad, everybody, if I told anything. But at least I knew that was wrong and that was not right. So when I did later on in life tell her, I watched how she handled a little bit of that information that I brought to her, and I realized she wasn't ready. Not for the whole role. She was ready for that little piece. And the way that she handled it taught me that she was not ready to know exactly what happened at the hands of her siblings. She was not ready to know that. Did that mean she was a wrong person? No. It just meant she was not at that place emotionally, maturity level wise. She wasn't at that place to take that information and do with it what she should have done. Okay? Go ahead.
Mhm. So I think it will hurt me. It almost came close.
Mm-hmm.
If I would have never had a social media account, because at that time people was telling me to get off of social media because I was disrupting everybody. I was shaking
So, you mean that
everybody.
happened? Oh, I can't believe it.
I had by this time I had about 20 some Facebook pages because everybody kept reporting me. And that could have been me in my situation. My kids could have been more close to another man, a white father, a stepfather at that. What I want to ask you is, you have children.
Yes.
Your children are crazy about you, right?
Yeah, or just crazy. Yeah.
But they love you.
Yeah, yeah.
Imagine that they didn't have them those strong feelings for you as the biological mother. They had it with a different mother. How would that make you feel? Your biological children, grandchildren, felt strong, more strong feelings from another woman, and not even you, and you, their biological mom. How would that really make you feel?
The me today, the me 10 years ago, the me 20 years ago, it depends. For me right now, it would make me, for me, even at an earlier age, only because of my father's my father's interaction with my life, he taught me to think critically. I would try to figure out what in the hell was wrong with me. That's what I would think. What did I do? I would go
Mhm.
inward, and that's how I am. I always start with me. I want to know, what did I do to prevent me from being able to give them the love and attention that they need? And why aren't they looking at me like that? What did I do? They adore her so much. Why do they adore her? I would then go inward. That's just how I am. I'm just going to go inward, and I'm going to look at me, and I'm going to see what's up with me. Why did I do what I did to allow them to have that relationship? And then I need to check old girl out. I need to see what she got going on. How does she have this great relationship with these kids? What is it about her? Does she make it a hospitable environment for them to come and talk to her? Does she make it a hospitable environment for them to be close to her? What is it that she's doing? And that's the problem right there. That's the reason why I think our community is so screwed up, because you got,
But
I don't want no other woman around my child. Well, baby, I'm gonna tell you right now, you probably need that other woman to be around your kids. All that neck rolling you doing and finger twisting and all of that stuff. You're teaching your kids how to be urchins.
so do you still? How would that still make you feel though? Even though you might could learn something from her, but another woman came in, and your kids and your biological kids and your biological grandkids is more close to another woman, another grandmama, another mama, and these are yours. These are your legacy. Still, even though you might take some self accountability, but still, how that affect you mentally, knowing that, like, not only that your kids is not close to you and they love another woman over you, but your grandkids is almost like uh your husband loving another woman over you. That like that's Can you imagine your husband loving another woman or treat another woman better than he do you and you his wife? Now imagine this your children and your grandchildren.
Hmm. Yeah,
That got to have some that I think that will have some type of effect on you.
of course. But
What would be the effect?
but when we deal with adversity in our lives, that is basically, the question you're asking is, how do you deal with adversity? That's really what you're asking. And it really has a lot to do with the emotional maturity. The reason why you see women out here in these streets cutting up, and she's the baby mama, going into birthday parties at Chuck E. Cheese, acting up, and the stepmother. Watch the stepmother. She's standing there, and what is she standing like? Like a lady. You can juxtapose the two. You got a wild woman from Borneo saying, I don't want no woman around my kids. And what you doing around my kids? I told you, even though that's your wife, I don't want her around my kids. Baby, he just went up. He went up, that's all. You a fool, and he went up. So yeah, it would hurt you, but if you got some sense, and if you plan on being here living another day, it would behoove you to learn what you're not doing, because it doesn't matter how many times you see that story play out. That man can settle down with that woman, that stepmother, and be there with her, with his kids coming to visit every weekend, or finally having them all together, but you still a fool, running around from pillar to post, pillar to post, pillar to post, pillar to post. And that, my friends, is really the crux of a problem that is systematic within the Black community, and that is that the mama, on average, is out of control.
Well, now even though that part aspect do exist, but Nala says brought up a time where when marriages used to get breaking up, the father used to get the kids. So let's just say you was with your husband, your husband, and y'all was doing good for a while. Then somehow y'all get a divorce. Now let's say during that time, required by requirement, the father gets the kids. It's
Okay.
not coming from you was up there playing wife and everything. You did everything you can to be in them, be the wife and the mother to them kids. But for unfortunate circumstances, y'all get divorced, and the father got the kids. It wasn't because you was just hopping around, because you was there being a mama. It's just that your marriage just didn't work, and the father got the kids. Now he bring in a new woman to replace you. It don't have nothing to you. When you was there, you had been the best mom as possible. Even if you wasn't a good wife, you was the best mom though. But now, by law, when the husband, when the marriage breaks, the husband get the kids, and you get replaced. And now, let's just say during that time, everybody in that community was raised up with stepmamas, and the mamas get replaced, and the kids, they aim more for stepmothers. They worship stepmoms instead of mothers. To me, that would be kind of sad to me.
It may be sad, but when we fashion it as there was no reason other than the relationship did not work, then it becomes sad. But see, that's the problem because that's the story that's told. The relationship did not work, but the truth is what needs to be told. And the truth is that there was some stuff that mama was doing, or there was some stuff that daddy was doing that prevented them from being in the place that they were supposed to be at the appointed time because of self accountability that lacks within each and every one of us, and accountability that lacks within some parents to think they can live however they want to live and have absolutely no accountability. Nothing's going to happen to them. Listen, his death has brought a lot to light. I mean, a lot, not just on my side, but on his side. On his side, that helped me understand him even more, that I learned. And what it makes me think about him is that this was a super dude. Even though I had thought great things of him, and even though throughout those years after my mother died, he married another lady and that relationship had issues, but they stayed together for almost 40 years because he had stick-to-itivism. I don't think that my mother and him would have been married either, because my mother hadn't worked on her. She died at 35. They had been married since the early 70s. But as I look at some of the patterns and the ways and the demons that she was running from, being mentally, having anguish and having issues, mental anguish and issues that she didn't know how to deal with and didn't know how to resolve, I see that we would have been the same way that we were had when he found us, when he married her. When I look back in retrospect right now, I can see that the only reason why he came into our lives was to prevent us from being statistics. He didn't know it. All he knew was he loved her, and that he grew and he loved us. That's all he knew, that he loved us. And all he knew was when you marry, you stick it out till death do us part. And when she died, he was released. And when he was released, he did something that a lot of people today would never do. He kept us. When I look at it right now, and I put myself in the place of his mom, would I have told him give those kids to their dad? Probably, so that he could be free to date and do what he needed to do as a single man of 38 years old, right? But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He continued to take care of us. He continued to be there for us because he took that vow to love her and us, and he did. So what I say is there's a lot of moms that are out there that
So
we
he was
all,
still there after your mom
after
passed.
my mother died, he kept every single one of us until we individually weaned ourselves off of him. And the way that we weaned ourselves off of him was by not keeping his policies and procedures in his house. If he told my behind to be in at 10 o'clock and I shaded the line and I was there at 11 o'clock, I had to deal with that. If this man say come in my house at midnight because I was, dealing with the death of my mom and I was still young and I missed going to school at the very first year that I was supposed to, I was trying to go out there and be grown. Now I'm 18. That man told me, look here, you got to go. And I'm so glad he did it. He said, you have got to go. I have other children here that I'm trying to raise. And if you want to go out and party, you can do that. You just can't do it here. You just can't do it here. You got to go. And was he right? Yes. Yes, he was right. Best thing that ever happened to me was him and him standing on his word saying, you can be here as long as you're going to go by the rules of my house. If you're going to be here at the right time, if you're going to contribute to the household, you got to do one of the few things. You can go to work, you can go to school, or you can go to the military. But if you're going to be in my house, you got to abide by my rules. Was he wrong for putting me out or giving me the invitation and helping me to the door? No. He was 110% right. Now, there are going to be people who, oh my God, he shouldn't have did that. You were a girl. And with a mouth, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I don't have to leave. This is my mom's house. You thought that was going to work? Nah, that wasn't going to work. That wasn't going to work.
How many siblings? How many siblings?
Huh?
How many siblings was y'all?
At the end of the day, it was 5 of us. It was myself and my 2 younger siblings who were twins. So he met her with 3 of us. And then later they had 2 more kids. His point was valid. Look, you can't be in my house coming in and out when you feel like it after I done told you to be in here. So I got kids that I'm raising. You can't do that. You got to go. And he was right.
I got this video that I want to show because I want to ask.
Go ahead.
I want to ask you, even though I understand your perspective, I guess it's situational, right? It's situational. And you hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this video. Then I'm gonna ask, do you see what I see on this?
Okay.
That's Kendra G.
Okay.
And let's just play this right quick.
I do. I have 6 altogether.
You gave birth to 6 children?
I did. I gave birth to 6 children.
Are they all by the same man?
No, ma'am.
How many men?
4.
4 men. Melissa, have you ever been married?
I have not.
You have any children?
Yes, I do. I have 5 children.
You have 5 kids. Are all by the same man?
No, they're not. There's 4 different.
Do you have any kids?
Yes, ma'am. I have
How
4.
many kids you got, Angel?
I have 4.
Are your children by the same man?
No, ma'am.
How many men?
All my kids were by different men.
So 4.
Yes.
Okay, 4 men. Okay.
Nasty bitch.
Do you have any kids? How many kids do you have?
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I have a 15-year-old.
Uh-huh.
Come on, let's go.
Oh, keep playing it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, come on.
I have a 4-year-old and a 2-year-old. And I've never been married.
How many men do you have children by?
3.
21 years young. You have any children?
I have 3. I have a 12-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 10-month-old.
Are they all by the same man?
No, ma'am.
Stop it right there.
1-month-old and a 3-year-old have the same daddy? How many men do you have children by?
Pause it right there.
Uh-huh.
You got a 10-month-old and you back out in a dating pool. Let that sit there. Just let that sit there.
Mm-hmm.
You have a 10-month-old and you're in the dating pool. This is the problem within our community. It doesn't have anything to do with a dad wanting to be a stepdad, but it has everything to do with the fact that there are people who don't learn. That behavior doesn't change. Go ahead.
I want to finish the video before you got into that.
Go ahead.
3.
32. Okay, since we got there early, how many kids you have?
I have 5.
You have 5 kids, girl? How old are your 5 kids?
14, 8, 6, 4, and 2.
All by the same man?
No.
How many men?
5 men.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. This is ridiculous, man.
Do you have any kids?
I have 4 almost adult children.
All by the same man?
No,
How many men?
4.
4. Have you ever been married?
I have been married to a woman, and it was like an arranged marriage.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yes,
You have any kids?
I do. I have 5.
All by the same man? How many men?
I'm sorry.
How many men?
3.
3 men. Okay. Do you have any? Oh, you have a child. How many kids do you have?
Yeah, 7. She's the youngest.
You have 7 children. Hey, how many men do you have children by?
5.
Do you have any kids?
Yes.
How many kids, honey?
I have 6.
You gave birth to 6 people.
Yeah, 6 children.
Are all your 6 children by the same man? How many baby daddies do you have?
6.
6. Okay. Have you ever been married?
No. Do I smell a whore?
Do you have any children?
I have 8.
You have 8 kids?
I really
You
do.
gave birth to 8 kids?
I did.
8 kids came out of your womb.
Yes, ma'am.
All by the same man?
3 different fathers.
So you have a grandbaby. How many kids do you have?
I have 4 sons.
Excuse me?
4 sons.
4 sons. All by the same man?
No, by 3 different fathers.
3 men. Have you ever been married?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes, I have 4.
4 kids. Okay. All by the same man?
No, ma'am.
How many men?
3.
You have any kids?
Yes, I got 4 kids.
How many men?
4.
Another one.
Why you not with the 1-year-old dad?
He got some problems. Like, he had too many problems. Like, he got like some crazy problems, and I had to leave him.
Baby by him.
Huh?
Why did you have a baby by him?
I was pregnant before I found out.
Why did you get pregnant before you found out he had problems?
I found out he had problems after.
You should have found out first, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes, this is where they're going to eat me up. I have 4 kids.
Are they all by the same man?
Nope. I got 4 different babies.
Okay, 4 men. Have you ever been married?
No.
So how come? Okay, well, do you desire marriage?
Yes, I do. Indeed.
So,
I definitely marry one day.
Not gonna happen. No, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
do you have any kids?
4.
4 kids. How old are your kids?
15, 12, 9, and 5.
All right, all by the same man?
No.
How many men?
3.
3. Have you ever been married?
No.
No. You have any kids?
I do. I have 5.
You have 5 kids?
2.
Girl, you seem too peaceful to have 5 kids. How about the same man?
No.
How many men?
3.
3. Have you never been married? Have you ever been married?
No. Oh, I was recently engaged.
3 men. Okay. Why don't you settle down with any of your children's dads?
Well, you know, it is what it is.
No, I don't know it is what it is. That's why I'm asking.
It didn't work out.
Well, all 3 of them?
All 3 of them, girl, no. One of them was abusive. The other one did jail time, and yeah, the other one, it just didn't work out.
Okay.
So that's the end of it. So we by us looking at that, right, and listening to this, even though I give respect to your situation,
of course,
right, my dog, the cussing auntie, no, but now can you see how could somebody say stepfathers? Because right now they're looking for a stepfather now. All these women.
Absolutely.
It wasn't no accountability in no way of when they was creating all of these babies. They just went for, because each one of those baby daddies at one point was a stepfather first.
Of course.
So they done
Chef,
had 5
to the
kids.
fifth child. Yeah, yeah.
So when stepfathers come in, now would you be able to understand why people would say stepfathers enables poor behavior in women?
Okay, let me just say this. This is what I believe. I believe that the focus should be on the woman as opposed to the stepfather who falls in love with the mom. And let me tell you why. I think each person bears their own responsibility. Let me preface everything I'm about to say by saying that. And I also believe that if a person has their own reasons and choices for why they're not going to date a certain type of person, then they should stick to their guns. My mother's problem was just like those ladies' problems. My mother is the reason why I had all of my kids by my husband, one man. My stepfather's insight and teaching me how to remain and be a lady and putting my behind out when I decided I wanted to go and hang out and party, okay? Go to college. I was going to school, but I was partying. I was on the campus. We was going to all kinds of frat parties and sorority parties. And, we was out. We were out. I was doing my thing. We were having a good time. But hey, this man still had rules. Because of the way that he ruled our household, and because of the fact that he taught me the way that he did, and he put in and instilled in me the way that I was supposed to behave, did not mean that I was going to behave the way I was supposed to behave until I got grown, until I got tired of being stupid. But my mother's lifestyle for having all of these last names in our household drove me bats. I didn't like the fact that the twins had one last name. I had another last name. And then my other siblings had a different last name. I didn't like that. And I did not like how I, as a child, felt seeing the younger kids, the twins, having their dad try to be nice to me when he would bring them things. He would also bring me something. And then that made me feel like, okay, thank you. But my father still wasn't there. My daddy still wasn't there. Even though he was in the same city, he elected not to be there. This cat would have me sitting on the porch with I had a little bag, a little suitcase with my little items in it on a Friday, waiting to go to church with them on the weekend. He said he's going to come and get me. My stepfather stepped to him after me sitting outside like the 4th time, and he was on the phone with him. And I remember with my nosy self sticking my head around that wall, hearing him tell him, "Hey, how's it going, man? Listen, you had her sitting outside. And she sat out there, it's about the 3rd or 4th time that happened. And I heard my dad pause. And then I heard, you could hear my birth father talking like, oh, I didn't remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Or this and that. He go, yeah, man, I understand. Well, it's good. It's good. It's okay. I understand. I tell you what, she's good over here. We're good. She's good over here. You don't have to promise to come and get her anymore. It's okay. It's okay. Just do me a favor and don't promise her that you coming, but it's okay. So what happened was his wife ended up being the person who would come and get me. She would pick me up on a Friday, and because he was a pastor, she would go and take me to Gardena, and we would shop. And she would buy me little hats and little dresses and my purse for church and my little patent leather shoes because she wanted a daughter so much. And she was the best stepmom. Her home was immaculate. She was an immaculate cook. She was an immaculate mother. She was unbelievable. I had my own little room where she had put all my stuff. So that when I came over to their house, she had her Barbie doll, and that was me. I love her to this day. But my dad was never prevented from coming to see us. So why wasn't he there? That's his own animal. That's his own demons. Every one of us have our own reasons why. Okay. But he was not there where she stepped in. My stepdad let him know this wasn't going to happen. But for me, the one indelible thing for me was, don't you run around here having no kids with all different kind of men. I got one husband. I had 4 kids by that man. I have a stepson that I have now after. And listen, when I left that dude, it was after, and everybody that is following my channel, you do know, it was after being married to him for years. Prior to him going to service, he had a physical abuse issue. That stopped when we got to the military. So we had like 13 years of peace. Well, he was in the military. He got out of the military, went right back to doing the same things that he was doing before, and then added one more demon onto that. Physical abuse and then drug addiction. Can't kick it with that. I could kick it with the drug addiction, but I can't kick it with you trying to have me fight you every weekend. So eventually I had to roll, but I never wanted to be that woman that had multiple kids by multiple men because I saw how I felt and I saw how each kid, especially little kids, ooh, look at my daddy bought me, ooh, riding around on bicycles and all kinds of stuff. While I'm sitting there like, okay. And my stepdad will come in and he'll be like, hey, Pink, stepdad, he comes in and he'll bring me he bought me a bike. He bought me a pogo stick. He bought me all these fun things. He would take me and we would go run. When I was running track, he would be my coach. Come on, LT, pick up your legs, pick up your knees, go, go, go. He would help me with that. He would help me with all of my speeches. When I had to go speak to the Veterans of Foreign Affairs, he was there with me, helped me write that speech, taught me how to look at the judges when I was to. He taught me everything that I needed to know about public speaking. He taught me again everything I needed to know about history, everything I needed to know about running a business, because he was not only a businessman who was an engineer, but he also owned his own business. So he taught me all of the things that I needed to know, and I found myself clinging closer to him as a little girl because everybody else had a mama and a daddy, but I didn't.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Now you see, all of those women was on Kendra G.
That's how my mom would have been. That's how she was at one time.
And the way that, I'm quite sure you got sons.
Oh yeah.
You raise your sons to be strong and respectable and stuff. Would you, and that's a dating show, would you advise your son to be with any one of those women?
I think that it's important to first of all know that my sons are very strong-willed individuals, and they would make their inevitable decision. I would give my feedback, and I would say, "Hey, leave that one alone because you're gonna have another one coming around here, and you ain't gonna be with her. Let her go." And he would be like, "Okay." I have one son in California right now. Be like, "Okay, mom," and he would date her anyway. That's that one. He'd be like, "Yeah, okay, mom." Okay,
so you wouldn't mind your son if he would have picked any one of those women from Kendra G with 6 baby daddies, 5 baby daddies, 4 baby daddies. Will you tell?
8 baby daddies.
8 baby daddies. Will you allow your son to marry one of those women?
I think that it's important to not use the term allow because my sons are men. They gonna do what they
got their own mind, basically.
I will tell them I don't think that you should do that. You should look at that person's track record because whatever is in her that made her have to keep chasing this idea of what she has as a relationship is concerned is still there. There's a lack of care and concern for your children when you conduct yourself in this fashion. Period. And it doesn't matter if it's my mom or anybody else. I have to be able to look at a situation and call a spade. Pardon the pun, but I do. I got to be able to do it. In order for me to say that it would not be cool for my sons to do it, I have to highlight and outline the fact of how I felt as a child when I was in that circumstance. My mother was that person. The only thing that slowed her down and steadied her was my stepfather, and that was it. And if it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be talking right now.
And now you do realize all of them women was on Kendra G. Mm-hmm. It's the entire women in my family. Now, and this is why I say step dummies, because men would come in and be with those and choose those them women in my family. They got a lot of kids, right?
Yeah.
And so some of them by multiple men.
Yeah.
And then the women in my family they not feminine. Well, they feminine in their own way. They
can't be feminine.
The women in my family is extremely ghetto.
They can't be feminine.
Right. So they're extremely ghetto. So, but like a couple of women in my family lucked up on a man like your stepfather, right? That would come in. Like my sister, she lucked up on an older man. And when he came in, she had 6 kids. He gave her 2 more. But he been there taking care of all the kids, taking care of her, put her in the house. Now she got a house. They got 2 houses. Her house and his house. They go back and forth every single day. Matter of fact, the kids, some of them here right now. But how can I put this?
Just come on with it.
So this is why I say step dummies. When you look, because I don't want you to think that I'm trying to be offensive or intentionally. When
no,
you look
I want you to be you. I don't want. Listen, let me say this. Let me say this.
Your son to be with them women.
Let me say this. I don't ever want anybody that I consider to be a friend to ever feel in any way, shape, or form that they have to tiptoe on eggshells around me. And here's why. Because I ain't gonna feel like that around you. I'm gonna come with it. Whatever it is I got to say, I'm gonna say it. And there are people who know me personally in this chat that know I'm that way. You know what I'm saying? You call me the cussing auntie. The people in the chat know, hey, when it's time for me to get down, I'm gonna get down. But who do you want with you? Do you want somebody who gonna go with you when somebody coming after you? We all in this together. We gonna roll out. Is somebody coming to attack you, or do you want somebody who I'm gonna turn the other cheek and it's not my business and I don't want to get involved? Well, I don't know what happened. I was standing there 1 minute, I saw somebody coming after them, and I ran the other way. No, baby, that's not me. I need you to be able to shoot from the hip and let me do the same. Come on with it.
Okay, so when you were speaking about your stepfather, I took it as you speaking from, and don't take offense when I say the child perspective, because he was a parent to you. So you was gonna look at it, you gonna treat him different. You was gonna look at the situation different because it was more parent-child dynamic. Now, with a lot of times when I'll be speaking about this, I'll be speaking husband-wife dynamics, right?
Okay.
And so you see these women, this typically what stepdaddy signed up for. And we seen that was just a number of women. It's plenty of them exactly like that. And men will sign up for that. And the reason why they having so many babies and they feel entitled because they feel entitled to get another outstanding man to come and be with them, because a lot of, especially black men, was programmed, was told that when you accept a woman, you accept her for the whole package deal. She come with a package deal.
Who programmed her? Who programmed him? A single mother?
Typically the women in his community. Women teach us our failures. They told us that when you accept a woman, you accept everything that come with her. You can't just get the box and not want to be able to take care of them kids. So they basically they program us to be stepdaddies.
I don't, you know what? Here's the thing.
You don't even advise your own sons to be with them women.
No, I wouldn't. And here's why. This is a twofold answer. To answer your question is twofold. First thing, no, I wouldn't advise him to do that. Why? Because I wouldn't advise him to do that. But the other piece is he gonna think on his own. Here goes another major part that I think a lot of us forget when we're using scenarios like this, and that is that a man, nor is a woman, an algorithm that you can just drop information in and they just walk like a bot into it. This is a woman with 5 kids. I must date her. Dude, do you not have any idea of the type of person this is? Case in point, when my mom was dating my stepdad, who then later became her husband, she was trying to figure out who she was going to be with. What did he teach me? As a result of that, now I know why. As a result of that, he taught me what he taught me. Don't be. If you're going to be with one man, you be with that one man. But you don't have 2 men. That's how you'll end up dead. And I'll give you a case. I'll give you a great scenario how he did this. I remember one time my mom really was uncomfortable because I had a boyfriend through high school. And this one boyfriend through high school was a high school boyfriend that I had from the time I was 16, 15 and a half, all the way through the time I graduated high school. One person, always. We were in a musical group together. That was my first boyfriend. I dated him, but it made my mother uncomfortable because she feared that we were going to start being close together intimately, which wasn't the way that it was going to be because A, I never had that availability of time. and B, my stepfather made sure that I followed the rules. Now, could I have done some things? Oh yeah, I could have done some things. But the point I'm making is it made her uncomfortable that I still had just one boyfriend. And so what she had done, she had met this guy that was at an ice cream shop who his mother had bought him an ice cream shop, put his name on it. And she went to get some ice cream. She's like, oh my God, this is a young guy over there. And did you know that his mother named the shop after him and it's his and blah, blah, all this other stuff. One evening, this guy ended up at my door. And my dad answered the door. All I remember was my mother told me to put on something cute on a Friday evening. Put on something cute. I thought she was taking me somewhere with her. Put on something cute. Put on something cute. Do your hair. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, we're going somewhere. So me and my mom were going somewhere. I was excited to spend time with my mom. She had a much closer relationship with my sister, my middle sister, Karim, than she did with me. She was close, but she and my sister sort of jived. You know, they had that little vibe going. So they were very close. But that night, she told me to put on something that early that evening, and I did, and I looked all cute. The door, somebody knocked on the door, rang the bell. My dad goes to the door. At that point, my mom is headed to the door, and she's telling me, come on, come on. I'm going to the door. My dad answers the door, and he says to the little guy, hi, can I help you? And he goes, yeah, I'm here to take Felicia out. And he goes, you're here to do what? Hold on. So he closes the door. He turns around. He looks at my mother. My mother goes, yeah, I set up a date for her. And I'm like, a date? I know him. He plays an instrument in the band. I know who that boy is. A date? I'm like, a date? Man, when I tell you my father closed that door, he turned around. He opened that door and he told the little boy, he said, excuse me, young man, she's not going anywhere with you. Do you know that she has a boyfriend? And he goes, oh, no. He goes, yeah, she's got a boyfriend. Go on. Thank you for coming by, but she's not going nowhere with you. He closed that door. He turned around and in my presence, something he's never done. He would never talk to my mom about anything in our presence. They handled all of that in that room and we never heard anything. He turned around in my presence and he told her, what are you trying to do? Get her killed? You trying to teach her how to get killed in the future? Don't you ever teach her that again. He looked at me and he said, when you are with one person, you be with that one person. He said, has Clifford called you his girlfriend? I said, yeah. Is Clifford your boyfriend? I said, yeah. He said, that's all you do. You deal with one person at a time. You don't deal with two. He did that in my presence to teach me and use it as a teachable moment. And then him and my mother went in the other room and had their conversation. So I'm telling you that he was in my life for a purpose and a reason, for a season, most assuredly, but for a purpose and a reason. And it is part and parcel the reason why I teach women the way that I do today. Because I understand that my perspective is literally my left brain, because literally that's the person that I was closest to. He was an engineer, left brain, mathematician, left brain. He's a male, left brain, everything. But it also allows me to see from a bird's eye view because I love my mom and I understood that she was young and she didn't know any better, like a lot of those chicks. But if you continue to promulgate a problem, it's a problem, sis. If you got one kid, then you're not with that dad. At what point, after that second kid, third kid, at what point do you take some personal responsibility and say, hey, you know what? I got to do better. And I'm not talking about society. I'm not talking about babies. I'm not talking about societal woes. I'm talking about at what point does a woman take responsibility to say, I am not going to continue to do this. Now I'm on a show asking for somebody to come and date me. It doesn't take anything away from the character or the individual. What it does is it allows us as a culture to see with a bird's eye view exactly what we have become. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. And so it's no wonder why it's so easy for people on TikTok and on Instagram and on YouTube to utilize this as a talking point to gain clicks and views and to gain people's feedback. It's no wonder why they're able to make bunches and bunches of money off of pushing this storyline. Okay. And then when you have somebody like myself that says the things that I say, I'm the odd person out because people don't really understand the backstory. But those individuals are able to pick up a little soundbite and run with it and make millions, make hundreds of thousands of dollars. Why? Because now they got him. I got him. I got her. The woman did this, and don't you be no stepdaddy. What I'm saying is stick to the lakes and streams that you used to. But if you're going to teach a man anything, teach him to be selective in a kind way by saying, hey, look, yo, if you want to have your own family and you don't want to have no problems and you don't want to have no issues, then for you, you may be the kind of guy that needs to marry a woman that doesn't have kids. Have that about yourself, but don't castigate, don't beat up the dude that decided he wanted to do that. Now, if I tell my son don't do that, which I have on occasions, I got one son that'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, all right, mom. He like crazy coochie. So he like women who crazy. So he go out and get crazy women all the time. And then he called me trying to figure out how to get out of it when I already told him in the first place, she crazy. And I know why you like her, because she crazy. And you gonna keep dealing with her. He like crazy women. He like the crazy ones. Mama, I already know. He'll send me a picture because he knows I'll read a picture like 1,000 books. And I'm like, leave that one alone. He's like, all right, I'm going to take her out. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, huh?
And speaking, when you said something that you could get killed, want to pull this up? Now,
Yes,
this is a man. Well, I'm going to play the video first. This was in my city.
Look at this, though. Look, Rosabo says, my daughter doesn't have kids and she doesn't date men with kids. But look, here's the deal. That is a principle that this individual has elected to exercise. And that is my point. You have got to know when you're dating what your purpose for dating is. If you're not out there just dating to sport fuck and you're dating to have a relationship with somebody, then you're going to date with your mind and not with your lower half. If you out here just hitting it to hit it to hit it to hit it to hit it, then this is how you end up having these type of women that are now statistics. And because they've only learned how to float around in one pond, they don't know no more. They don't know no better. They ain't never listened to nobody to tell them that they cannot live their life like this ad nauseum. They're going to stay that way. But if you know that you want to date somebody because you want to inevitably have a family, then you need to set your boundaries in the beginning. And you need to make sure, just like Rasbo said, my daughter don't have kids and she don't date men with kids. That is a principle. But you got to, just like I said, hey, I'm going to have my kids by one man and that man has to be my husband. I'm not going to have 5 and 6 last names running in a household. So you got to have your principles, but you need to know what the purpose of dating is. And you don't have to be no Christian or no Buddhist or no, you don't have to be a Muslim to understand that the purpose for dating somebody should be, if you want to procreate, to finally get married and one day have kids. That's all I'll say on that.
All right, here go a video of a situation that happened in my family. This guy is not my family, but his baby mama was. Here go the video.
Hey, I'm in apartment 214. I'm finna kill myself. Just come get my son.
Whoa, wait, stop. Whoa.
So he actually didn't, and it's a short clip, so.
Does he unalive himself on this clip?
No.
Okay, is there any more talk like that on this clip?
Probably so.
Okay, just give me the scenario. And what I want to say is, no, you can still put it up. You can still put it up. Let me give the scenario and let you guys all know that there is no reason for anybody to ever want to hurt themselves. And if you are, at the end of the show, I'm going to make sure that I put up a suicide prevention line for you, because there are a lot of people out there on this planet that do feel overwhelmed. There are a lot of people on this planet who do feel like there is no way out. But I'm here to tell you that there's always a way out. There's always a way out, and that's not it. Never, ever, ever should you feel like you are alone. Listen, the Lockhart Perspective even has a phone number, and it's been there for ages. It's 470-232-1722. If you need resources, text that number, and we'll get you some resources to get you the assistance and the help that you need. But whenever you hear somebody that says these words, as one of two things: the person is either looking for attention, or they would have done it, or they really are going to do it. Either way it goes, if you're that person, we here don't want you to go through that. We want you to reach out and let somebody know that you do need help. Okay. So I don't want to hear that part again. You may have to mute that piece, but here we go. And
All
this
right.
video is going to be, and I thank you for that, Pink. This video is not for the faint of heart. And I do want to give a warning that it may be very harmful to some. So if you have a problem watching something like this, please note that we are using this only for entertainment, unfortunately, but educational purpose above all. And I want you to know that it's going to be sort of sad. So you may want to pull back. Let's see if we can mute the beginning of that and go ahead and run it.
Okay.
Niggas gonna think this over a bitch. It's not, bro. It's not. I never gave no fuck about none of that shit, bro. I had bitches fucking with me a long time ago. It's not. It's not.
So that was the rest of the video. So that's and so basically in this video, where we at?
I'm here. Hold on. I'm trying to pull the number up to give it to everybody. Hold on. Oh, you took it down.
Yeah, I took it down.
So now we got to try to figure out how we're going to get back.
Yeah, that was the end of it.
Because because the other one is gone now. So let me see. Let me put us up here. I don't know how to get it without that one being gone, because that one that you had up there that's gone, it took the ability for both of us to be there together. So you may have to put it back so that I can reset it.
Put what back? Let me see.
That video back up so that I can let it take the place that it had, and then we'll go on ahead and pull it down so that we can both be on the screen at the same time.
Got it.
Okay, it's there. Got it. Yeah. All right, so let's put it back up where it was. All right, and now let's just get rid of this guy. So we should be able to go there now. Okay, cool. There we go. Yeah, so, I'm gonna go ahead and make sure I put that up. Go ahead.
This guy, when you spoke about having two men, he unalived my little cousin, which is his baby mother. And he was telling the police, because he ended up shooting at the police, and he took himself out. He actually took himself out in this video. So, but the thing was, you right, your stepfather were right. Some men, when a woman playing with a man emotions and stuff like that, and playing with his children, especially with his biological children, it seemed like the younger black fathers is more bold, and they more without saying that the S word, and with dull, they more brave than what a lot of us were when it comes to standing up for what they believe in, especially because the younger generation black fathers are trying to be fathers now. Yeah, I see more young black fathers now than anything.
Agreed. Right? Agreed.
And they not gonna play with you. And I think the system is instigating these women death.
Well, let me ask you something. What my stepdad said, what do you think about what he said to my mom? And what do you think about the fact that he said it in my presence? What do you think the significance was?
He needed to say it in your presence because it needed to put that fear in you. And it needed to make you aware that, yeah, although there's a system to lock men up and all that put fear in men, but it's also in the real world that men will cross those lines. Men will take that risk. And a lot of times a man will snap off. You know, when a man love a woman and that woman play with him like that, especially with his children, because he had children by my cousin. And matter of fact, my sister Keisha used to babysit her all the time. My auntie Shirley used to babysit all the kids when she was young. And then when my sister Keisha, when we moved to her, my sister Sasha, she ain't babysitting nothing. But Keisha took after my auntie with babysitting and all cooking for the family, babysitting all the kids, raising all the kids and stuff. That's how she is even to this day. And when that happened, you know, I guess she was playing with this man's psyche. And a lot of people saying he wrong. But you don't understand when a lot of these thoughts been running through black fathers in them days a long time ago, before we was born.
Well, I think it's also a lot of men are more. I think a lot of men. I don't mean to cut you off, but I think men get a bad rep because people don't think that they have emotions because they don't wear them on their sleeves. Men, right. They love you. When a real man loves a woman, he really loves her with his whole heart. And even if he's human and he may make mistakes, he loves deeper than you think he does. And this is just on an average. I'm not talking about everybody because there's always going to be that one, right? Oh, well, this and such and this happened. And I get all that. But what I'm saying is I think that a lot of women do not understand how much they're really loved. Not saying that would be really love harming someone. Okay. I'm using the fact that men are more fragile than people think they are. That
because we can't never. Oh, go ahead.
And it's because they're not they shouldn't be like us. That's the reason why we got all of these cats right now running around here with not only just the water putting out the estrogen and the fluoride, and the food putting the estrogen and the fluoride, and different things going on around us in the air, and all these other things that are helping to feminize men. The most important part that I'm trying to say is that by and large, a man should never ever be like me. A woman should never ever say, "Oh, I want him to be like me. I want him to be emotional." I don't.
No, I think we should be allowed to, because this is why
need me. I don't need two of me. I need somebody to say, "Hey."
I think we genderize feelings, because if men weren't supposed to have feelings, God would never gave it to us. And so, even though we supposed to, as men, we supposed to be able to express our feelings and show women in the world on how to overcome and what to do with them feelings in a proper manner. But what's misguided is that we was told to put our feelings in a box, so we can't show it. So a lot of these men is going around here acting not humane. Now we have taught women to not to even expect a man to be emotional. I don't think that's natural at all. I think that men were designed to express our emotions, and we were supposed to show our women on how to overcome our emotions. This is why a lot of women and men in our community is emotional deranged, because they never had no man. And when it comes to men, we are emotional childish, because we never got the chance to express our true feelings. We was taught to be soldiers instead of soulmates. So we don't know how to deal with we don't know how to deal with emotions. This is part of why we can't understand women. This is part of how we can't connect with women. But I think when God put us on earth, we were supposed to be able to express our emotions, to connect with a woman properly. And then with our logic, we connect with a woman, we meet her face to face with our emotions. But then our logic gonna kick in, and now we can lead that woman through our emotions with our logic and redirect our emotions. But since we was told that we can express it and we had to put it in a box, now we got our women emotionally deranged, and they raising our children emotionally deranged, and this is why everything's going haywire off the fact that we cannot express who we really are. How could a woman really understand a man and really know him without him expressing who he are emotionally? I always was told that's the best way to connect with a woman is emotionally. That's when this is part of why men don't know how to appreciate women, because we was told not to express emotions. So when a woman acting emotional, we get irritated.
Okay,
Get acting like a bitch.
let me say something. Let me say
That's how
something.
we talk to them.
But the video that you just showed us who's raising these men. So you have a woman, say you got a video with 15 women or 10 women, and they each between them, you know, they got that's 50 kids. You got 10 women. Each of them got 5 kids. That's 50 kids. And how many boys are of those 50 kids? But then you have a hysterical woman that's raising boys while she's hysterical and telling them that you're not supposed to cry, that you're supposed to have him, but she's breaking his character down at the same time telling him not to cry. She's effeminizing him because she's now lording over a male, teaching him that it's okay to have a woman to talk to you this way. Okay. This is the reason why they need to get y'all out the house. This is the reason why they need to not have you guys around. This is the reason why they may drop somebody a few more views for telling you that a stepdaddy is not good. This is the reason why. This is a two-pronged beast. It's a beast on the stepdad side, and then it's a beast on the side where you have the women having multiple kids. How come there ain't no women like me being when I say that it's the woman's fault? When I come forward, they call me a mammy. And there are people like, hold on.
I was about to ask you about something. How would you feel about them talking?
See, this is the reason why I am the way that I am, because there are things that we as a culture have allowed to go forward with and that we have applauded the Black strong woman. Well, which is it? You need a man, miss 5 kids, or you strong? Because see, if you're strong, then you're going to take care of the ones you got and don't add no more and wait until you raise the baby to go on and do what they got to do. And then you can date, but not necessarily for marriage, maybe just for companionship. What I'm saying is it is the selfishness of the mother to continue to lay down, to get her rocks off, to catch a man, to have her kids around all these different people, have multiple names in the household, make the kids scratch their heads to understand what's up. And mind you, all the dudes are not around no more. The cats and the real stepfathers from the days of old, they ain't around no more because you got 10 women that's got 5 kids each. There's 50 kids being raised by 10 women who all think hysterically. They don't have any logic, and they're raising their boys to be like them. And they're telling them not to be like them. Be a man. Stop crying. What's the matter? You better not let that out. If you let that out, I'm going to get you even more. You better be quiet. You better be a man. You're the man of the house. You're the man of the house. Yet and still, it's that same person. I need a man. I need somebody. No, you need your ass kicked and you need to slow it down. You don't need to have no more kids. You need to get it together. You need to raise the ones you got. You need to keep your house clean. You need to make sure you know how to balance a checkbook. You need to make sure that you got it together for your children. You need to wash their clothes. You need to make sure that they eat. You need to make sure that they're in the bed. See how that works? You got a gig. See how that works? You got a gig.
Right,
you got a gig. You got something to do. But it was that I did not want. And it was because of him I narrowly escaped. Don't make me better than nobody. It just made me see what I did not want to have anything to do with it, and made me learn at a very young age. Don't you be running around here with multiple dudes, because you might get killed.
So would you agree that the Black community needs to be deprogrammed and redirected? Because the way I want to get back to that story. So that's my cousin that he deleted. And he deleted himself after shooting the police because allegedly my cousin was playing with him by this baby. And a lot of people understood where he was coming from, especially men. The family didn't, of course, but a lot of men understood where he was coming from. That was a sad story because a lot of men before our time used to think like this. When they be fighting for their kids and you try to go to the courts because they say don't take matters to your own hands. let the police, let the system handle it, and then you let the system handle it, and the system still remove your peace
Hold on,
away
stop
from
you for
you.
a second. I gotta say something, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I gotta say it when you said the system was not set up for you. The system was not set up for us. The system was
Right.
set up for somebody else. And if the system was set up for somebody else, when you get there, they're gonna give you what they was gonna give you had you never showed up, and they had the legal right to continue to do so.
But that's what we believe growing up, because they told us never take matters into your own hands, right? So we believe that we depended on the system for so many years to make justice and make it fair, and they keep robbing men out their kids. So in our day and back in the older days, what he did is what black men been wanting to do forever when he get his kids took. It's just these young men, they don't care no more. They be going off them drugs. They more bold. They don't care no more like we used to. So this is why I say it instigates, that system is instigating to the statistics of our black women is getting seriously hurt out here.
But you gotta
Because she
understand.
ain't gonna do what her mama told. Well, her mama did with her daddy, and this is what she done seen her mama do with her daddy now. And now these young black men, they a little bit more bolder than we is.
They're
they
bold,
not having that.
but they're
So
weak.
now she's gonna suffer for some severe consequences for playing with this man like that about his baby. You already playing with him about the love part. Now you gonna play with him about his baby girl. That look pretty. And you play with him with his baby, and you already playing with his love. So he did exactly, and it's unfortunate. But my thing is, I think that the community, and it's he like in more in the video, he kept saying he'd been telling people he was going through stuff mentally, and
And ain't
everybody
nobody listening.
ain't
Ain't
nobody
nobody
really,
listening. Ain't nobody listening to him. And I'm gonna
because
tell you
they don't
something.
know how to.
Well,
They
not
don't know
only
where to
that,
start.
not only that, because you got a lot of dodo birds running around here with an agenda that was planted in them, for there be $50 for you to say this week, or $100 for you to say this that week. Okay, you got a lot of people who dropped a lot of propaganda in our community for years and years and years. What do you, and you know what? Some of the easiest things that I want to show you what propaganda was. Rosa Parks was propaganda, baby. That was propaganda. I'm giving you a very gentle stroke of what the propaganda in our community was and is. That was propaganda. Didn't nobody have no camera phones then? How did you know? How many times have I said this? If Frank is still here, I know Ronnie is here. There's a bunch of people who's been hearing me say this for years. You've been propagandized to believe that you don't need no man, stupid. You've been propagandized to believe that in conjunction with the welfare system, which is now about to take a nosedive, that you can do it alone. But were you doing it alone? Or were you doing it with the AFDC back in the day where they got the food stamps and the money coming from it? Were you doing it with them? No.
They finna call you a mammy, Miss Lockhart. And you know what? That's so crazy that black women would call black women mammies for advocating for black men and families. But then they talk about going with the white man, and the original definition of a mammy was a black woman taking care of a white man's baby. So they the true form of a mammy.
And that's exactly as soon as I start to speak and say, but here's the thing. Let me just put this out here. I've been saying these things for years. Prior to them becoming popular in the spaces to get money, right? I've been trying to say, hey, do better for your kids. Be there for your children. And the reason why I always say, learn how to be a wife and get yourself someplace where you can listen to somebody's sound tell you how to be a wife is because those children are only going to be young for a minute. They're only going to be little for a minute. Can't you give 18 years? Seriously, let me just say this. I'm going to say this. Can't you just give 18 years? Can you please just give them 18 years? Can you be with that dad, realizing you chose him, barring him beating you upside the head, right? Can you just give your kids 18 years? Is that possible for you to just understand that, hey, no, we may not have all the fancy purses that my friend girl got or my sister got. We may not have a gigantic house. He may not be the best dresser, but this man loves us and he protects us and he takes care of us. And he's my husband and he's the man that I've elected to be with. Can you not just sit down for 18 years and let your election be sure? Can you not just do that? Can you not just settle for what you purchased? Be happy with what you got. You may not have bought that washer and dryer that's fancy, that loads up from the top and loads up from the front like everybody else did. But you got one that loads up from the top and you can still wash and you can still dry. Can you not just be satisfied with where you are? Because I'm gonna tell you something. What's the problem within us is that we don't have enough people who are telling the truth. And then when you do get truth tellers, you want to call her a mammy because she's trying to tell you what's real. When your husband say you need to stay at the house, guess what? Even though right now today people say, well, you need 2 incomes. Okay, can't you figure out something to do from home? They got drop shipping companies all the time. They got companies that you can make up an idea and sell it online. Can't you take a portion of you all's tax return and take that and sew it into a small business that you can do from a computer at home? Sure you can. Do you have to be dressed up and going to an office, wasting gas money, extra insurance on the car, having to get lunch every day, being out there in the public square where you don't even listen to your husband half the time? Now you got to do what a male boss tells you to do or a female boss who's so full of testosterone that you wish you just can't stand her. Right? You're in an environment where you have a boss, but you don't want to be up under the man that you elected to be with. What I submit is you the one with the problem. I submit you got the issue. I submit it's you. I submit it's not the man. If you've got 5 kids by 5 different dudes, then I submit you don't need a stepfather. You need to get yourself someplace and have a seat. Have several seats. Do your first gig. Raise your children better than raising a dog. Raise your kids. Raise them correctly. Raise them with respect. Raise them the way that they're supposed to be. They may not all catch it the way you want them to, but what I'm trying to get you to understand is you the damn problem. You the problem. You listened to a lie that was told to you that you could do it by yourself, and now you're out there doing it by yourself, and you realize somebody lied to me. I don't even remember what commercial it was that showed that I could do it by myself. You're a selfish individual. My mother, God rest her soul, was selfish. Why? Because she left us in the care of people who could not be trusted. Because she was chasing, God bless her, she was chasing a dream. God bless her. She was chasing a dream. And we were the price. We paid the price of the dream she was chasing. We were the currency. And even though she had children by different men, she got with my stepfather. And what I realized as a grown woman is, unfortunately, my mom passed at 35 years old. But if I look at it from the bird's eye view, with all of the collected memories and putting pieces together, and what I've learned this week, I don't believe she would have been with him long. They were together until the day she died. They were together from the time the 70s was in the 70s. But based on what I see today, and based on what I know, and based on the fact that I can do the math, had she not died, I don't know how long they would have been together. Because if you do not unlearn the tacky traits that got you to have those multiple children, you will continue to run off every guy that's a good dude. See, we women inherently, we like the Fonzie, okay? We like the bad dude. We like the guy that looks like he's the bad guy. We like that trash. And so when you get a guy who's a good dude, you still out there looking around because you're conditioned your mind to think that you need that bad dude. You need somebody who gives you more excitement. It's so funny. Because I was so close to my stepdad when I was growing up, I loved to dress my husband. You know why? Because he was an engineer. And because he raised us, He raised us with a specific level of taste because that's what he was able to amass. He was able to amass a certain type of clothing. He was able to work in certain type of environments that required certain type of clothing, but he never bought cheap clothes because he wasn't the type to go and buy something 2 and 3 times. He would buy one nice blazer or one nice sports jacket. And then he even taught me, so funny. Come here, LT, let me tell you something. This is how you make sure that you got work clothes. He said you will buy yourself a brown skirt, a burgundy skirt, a navy blue skirt, and a black skirt. Then I want you to get this jacket, this jacket, this jacket. Then I want you to get 4 or 5 of these colored tops. And he would help me put the tops together so that, because I was working in offices thanks to him, right? So he would teach me how to do all of those things and how to put it all together and how to make sure you put it in the cleaners, make sure that when you get out of the cleaners, if you're wearing jeans, make sure that they put enough starch in them so you can wear them once, hang them up when you're done, and you can come and get them, wear them one more time, put them back in the cleaner. He taught me all of those things. But the reason why he taught me those things and the reason why I say I liked the way that he dressed was because my daddy was a sharp dude. He was an engineer who was over working at Hughes Aircraft. He had like 300 engineers that was under him. He was over whole entire projects, big projects. It was a B2, B52. He was, I think it was B52. I think it was that one, the B2 bomber. He dealt with that. He dealt with the shuttles. He dealt with all of that stuff. When I would go see my father, I couldn't even get beyond the front door. I had to wait and sit down inside of the rating area because he was way up and they would have to call him and he would come down. He worked on top secret things that I knew nothing of. The only thing that I knew was after it was out, then he would tell us, hey, that space shuttle, I worked on that. My team worked on that. My team worked on that. So we knew those things, but we didn't know while he was doing it. But while my father was growing up, while we were growing up with him, I loved the way that he dressed. And I loved the fact that he had really good taste. And so I made sure my husband's clothes looked nice all the time. He looked clean. When we go to church, we'd be matching. That's the way we were. But I'm saying all this to say that you don't get that kind of stuff if you keep dropping a seed here, meet this man, things don't work out, and then you drop a seed. And then I'm going to say something else. There's a lot of women that's in that bunch of women that we just got through seeing that had children for somebody else's husband, thinking that if she laid down and moved it just the right way to the right or moved it just the right way to the left, that she was going to be able to take that woman's husband from her. Real talk. And that's the reason why we have a lot of people who are messing up homes and households because they're selfish people. They're selfish people. Black Beauty said, you have to speak for yourself on that. I have never been into the bad boys, LOL. I know that's right. That's wisdom. That is wisdom. Because if you understand that that's not the type of cat that you need, you'll never deal with him. And if you have that as your standard, you'll never go wrong. Do you guys see what she says there? She put the standard there. That's exactly what I was talking about when I said that if a man has a standard, then that's the standard. But you know what? How about the dude that was a bad dude and changed his life and became a good dude? Those are out there too. Pink says same, right? But you know, I'd rather let a COINTELPRO tell me what to do. Oh, what we got? What we got?
Here's another video they was talking about. Well, I'm gonna let y'all hear it. It's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Let me give you. I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Okay.
In the Black community, dads are the most absent of any community. About 2/3 of all Black youth will be raised without a stable father around. And I know it's crazy, right? And that little precious angel of yours deserves to have a father around. You know, for daughters and for sons, it's different things. For a daughter, that's a father figure to look up to say that is how a man should act and someone that I ought to one day marry, someone that will protect me from a vicious world, and someone that makes me understand what strength and not brutality looks like, what justice but not revenge looks like. To have a father figure is a silent way of forming a child to be a mature citizen. And unfortunately, as we've removed dads from families, government has come in and has taken the place. So some people need help and they need social assistance. All of that should be about incentivizing the dad staying around not the dad leaving. Unfortunately, with welfare, you can get more money for single mother assistance.
This is very true.
And so right, you agree. We're actually subsidizing single motherhood more than we are subsidizing family formation. The number one objective of any social welfare program should be, how do we keep the family together and put dads back in the family? Yes. That is the number one priority. Unfortunately, in the Black community, dads are the most absent of any.
I like how, even though what he's saying make a lot of sense, but I like how when a white man is speaking the same stuff that the Black man been speaking, Black women be listening. This what Black men been speaking all along, but why when a white man says something, now you hear it? This what Black men been saying for years, but now since the white man come out, you have to wait for a white man to come out to understand and listen to what we've been saying, because they argue that all the time against us. But she was glued to this white man saying the same stuff that Black men been saying forever. This goes to show you, and this is why I say I don't want to continue even though Miss Lockhart, she had a great stepfather, but we have replaced fathers. And yes, kids get attached to, men, especially if you doing what you're supposed to. But I prefer the kids to be attached to their blood. What would they be like if they was what would it have been like if it was her biological father? And then when you watch these videos of these women with all of these different baby daddies, I mean, it was a joke. Who would take those women serious?
I get it.
And they feel entitled. They on Kendra G.
I get it.
Actually looking for stepdaddies.
Yeah.
This is what they say: the good guy finished last after 8 kids, after 5 kids, 6 baby daddies. Now you are, and this is why Miss Lockhart, this is why I say he's the step dummy. Because every time we talk about stepfathers, we don't show them what that looks like. A lot of these dudes, when they be having these conversations, like you said earlier, they never experience it. Especially the dudes that advocate for this. They never seen what that looks like. Right? In reality, I seen it. In reality, these men be going into homes and you feel so sorry for these dudes. You feel, because the woman don't really respect them. The women don't really respect them. They treat them like a simp. They know you a sucker. You got to be a sucker, but you just the last resort. They treat you like you just the last resort. And she done did everything and lived her life like how the way she wanted to. And she shined through all them kids 4 baby daddies, 6 baby daddies. There's not too many of them got the same baby daddy, but she got a bunch of kids, right? And so you the sucker that's gonna come in and ignore everything, the decisions that she made, and you would blame the daddies. You would blame the daddies on why they not there. But clear, this woman got 8 kids, 6 baby daddies. Or you mean to tell me that all 6 of them niggas was bad and she not a problem? You try. One thing I don't like about Miss Lockhart is that they places all the blame on the fathers. The only reason why you see them women with the kids is because of the state. It don't be the fathers is the problem. They not the issue. Clearly, these women is the issue. It's 6 different niggas. 6 different niggas didn't want no kid, didn't want to raise their kids with you. You the problem. You the issue. It's not them. All these baby mamas coming on here. How many kids you got? 5. How many baby daddies? 5. So 5 didn't want to raise.
I think that your point is valid. I think that your point is valid. And yes, and that's exactly what I just got through saying, that I submit that you need to get yourself someplace and sit down. This, we cannot have this conversation um, we cannot have this conversation without us looking at the fact that a lot of these women have not matured, right? They haven't matured, because the woman that's a mature woman would say, hey, I do want the father of my child to be with him. And so even if we've not worked it out where we can be together, then I do want my child to be around that parent. A lot of women use the child as a tool to prevent them from having any peace at all. So a lot of women will say, no, you can't send them. You didn't send no money. You didn't send no money. So the child is not a child, a person who's somebody you're supposed to love. You're saying you didn't give no money. So basically you right at it again. You're right back there at it again. You're sacrificing the child because you want the money. And I also want to add this one thing, because you had mentioned something. I wrote down 2 notes while you were talking, just to go back to where we were, where you were mentioning. I'm going to come back to this point. And that is that I felt like the narratives that are being pushed by individuals who are not of this persuasion are being pushed to further add the disruption to the community. Because if there is a guy that says, I don't mind taking a woman with kids, well, then that's his choice, and let him take it. If he's bold enough to take the quest these days, then go right ahead and do it. Again, those guys are different than they were then. Back then, there were not so many women who were financially equal, and therefore those women learned to, okay, got a stepfather, let me sit on this lily pad and be cool. Whatever the mental psyche was that caused it, right? And then I also think that a lot of the women don't respect the stepfathers these days, because they're looking at the man as a tool and a ways to ends to a means. They're looking as okay, he's here now, I'm gonna still look around for who I really want, but he's able to pay the bills. You find a lot of women that are in those circumstances, got 2 and 3 kids, got a nice guy, nice dude, but they still out there hoeing in the middle of the night, going out to clubs and parties with their friend girls. Why? Because they're still looking. Again, looking back at what Black Beauty and what the other young lady and I were just talking about when we were saying, she said, speak for yourself. I don't want a bad guy. Some of those women still do. And some of those women are still hooked on the baby daddy. Why? Because once you allow something that comes inside of your body, that comes out of your body and comes inside of your body and comes out of your body, you are using Pitocin. That Pitocin attaches you to whatever comes in or whatever, most assuredly what comes out. All right. So now you're still attached to him. You don't want him. Okay. Now he's grown up. See, what a lot of these women are telling you is a lot of these dudes grow up. My birth father, he grew up. He wasn't that same cat that my mother married and had a divorce. He grew up. And when he grew up, he was a shining star. He still was not that cat. He was not the cat that left me sitting on the side of the house waiting for him to come and get me when he grew up. But it took a woman that understood who he was to help him to grow to who he ended up being. He still has some childishness in him, because at a certain point, she was like, I'm not taking none of the stuff that he's doing with these other women, and I got to go. But preachers throwing at them faster than any football player. I just want to let you know. All right. So that's exactly what her reason was for leaving. But he didn't care about none of them chicks. He cared about my mother, but he didn't know how to keep it in his pants, and he allowed that ego to go, which a lot of men do. But even with that said, you have a lot of women who want to control the man, even though they're not with him. I don't want my daughter or my son with this woman that you're with. And no, you can't come and see him. And no, you got men begging to come see their kids. But the woman will use that against them. And so our community is in the problem that it's in because of the people from the outside interjecting thoughts and interjecting issues and giving monies that was never, ever intended for our community in the first place. All right. Welfare was never, ever supposed to be given to us. It was actually instituted as a means to help men who were in the military who passed away, help their wives, either that A, while they were gone, or B, if they never came back. Those funds were set aside and allocated for that. We ended up taking part to it, of course, and we ended up using it to the point where it became a way of life, as opposed to using the food stamps just until you can get over, just until you can do. Now you can do better. You don't need them. People didn't take housing back then and say, okay, now that I can do better, I don't need it. I got my own house. I got my own stuff. I got my little job and we're all set up. My husband got his. I got mine. We got the money coming in. The kids are okay. Now that my oldest is my youngest is graduated, now I can go out here and do some other things for us as a family. See, that's the problem. People don't understand what culture and family really honestly is. But you know who does? Our replacements. Our replacements understand what family is better than anybody ever did. And my question is, how can they come, barring this last 4 years? Because I don't even want to talk about that destruction. But I'm saying prior to the last 4 years, people came over here and worked and took care of their family, sent for their brother. Then he came and he worked, sent for his wife and their kids. And then they all lived in the house together, which none of us can do. You try to put us all in a house together, somebody ain't gonna wake up tomorrow because we're gonna have a fight. Somebody gonna be upset. Everybody can't share the same bathroom. People are just in uproar. Black folks cannot live together to save their own lives, which is the reason why every one of us are out here struggling. Those of us who are, because there are some who are not. But there are some of us who are struggling, trying to make it just one household at a time. But you got a whole nother culture here that is our replacement, that just not even a replacement, baby. When I tell you they pushing brand new cars because they got exceptional jobs. And I'm not talking about the people who were purchased to be here, that were used for a moment, and that are now being sent back. Not all, but some. I'm talking about the people who predated that last slew of individuals who was purchased to get here. They ain't gonna be able to function. Because once you take that kind of money and snatch it from up under them, those people ain't gonna be able to function, and they're not gonna be able to function like us. But unlike us, guess what? They got some place to go home to. My whole point of making this point up is that if you have our community that has women running it and running amok while running it, we will not have a community. And by 2050, the person that they are looking at to be a person has light skin, light hair, green eyes, because there are going to be more people divesting on purpose than there are now. They're going to be running because they're not going to be able to do it on their own. But see, when you get blending into cultures, you're going to get into other cultures that don't rock the way you rock. You think you can go get a white guy. White guy not going to listen to all of that yelling? He may have had a mother who was a little passive aggressive. He may have had a mom that was a little narcissistic, but he's not going to be dealing with all of that neck rolling. This case in point, you got a black woman over here that was on social media, was on YouTube and all these other things. And what was she doing? She drove that white boy crazy. Because she was crazy. So my thing is, we do need to stop it as a culture, but the only way that we're going to stop it is by admitting that there are a lot of lies that are being promulgated within our community telling us that we can do it alone when we really honestly cannot. And now it is nationwide. It's not just within our culture. Americans cannot do it alone. Americans cannot do it alone. Whether you be a white woman, Mexican woman, no matter what it is, you can't do it alone. You need somebody. And I submit it's that cat that you kicked out the bedroom to go sleep with his brother.
And let me ask you this. So we get a lot of talk that black women say the white man treat them better than the black man. So I say, I just want to get your thoughts on my viewpoints on that, is that the reason why white men are able to treat you better than a black man is because you never harmed the white man like you did the black man. You never removed their father away from them. The white man don't have that complaint towards you. You never put them in harm's risk of where they had to lose their life, sacrifice their life of going to prison or going to the cemetery. They never was raised up in a black woman's house where they was told constantly that they wasn't shit, that daddy wasn't shit, and they got their butt beat because they look like they daddy. You never betrayed the white man, right? You never, when I look at biracial families with the black woman and the white man and they got kids, they not on child support. You're not telling them that they can't raise their kids. You haven't robbed the white man from their kids, they biracial kids, right? You never caused problems in the black community, in the white man's community, to the point where white men is getting deleted because of your mouth, right? You never told to try to challenge a white man and say, oh, you ain't this, you ain't that, and just create them issues and problems. So they don't have, so when you deal with them, the white man is willing to give you a clean slate, not knowing all of the graveyards that you had committed amongst black men. But the reason why you want to run to the white man because you don't want to deal with the consequences, and now black man is pointing his finger at you. And since you never used to have been held accountable, because society never held you accountable, you don't know how to handle that, right? You don't know how to handle the accountability that has been pushed off to you. We are we are the mama's children, right? Because Miss Lockhart, I get a lot of black women that tells me that we are weak. Black men is weak. I say I agree with you. The only black men that are weak and feminine is the ones. We ain't talking about the black men that's before the welfare days, because the Million Man March, Black Panthers, and them, Malcolm X, and them, the Gullah Geechees, the Muslims, they wasn't weak. The only ones that's weak is the ones that's coming up in mama's house. What do you have to say about that? They're the only ones that was weak. What do you have to say about that?
What I think is there's a lot of misnomers out here. I'm a person who believes that cultures and ethnicities were created to further that ethnicity. And that's just the way that I am. Everybody who follows me knows that. I believe that if you are an Anglo man, you would fare better marrying an Anglo woman to extend the culture, to extend the family. I believe if you're a white woman, you need to be with a white guy, because you all need to have, whether you're both Swedish or whether you're both Russian, that needs to continue. As soon as you interject and break that, then that's no longer that beautiful culture from Russia, right, or from wherever you're from. And I believe the same thing here, that if you're looking for another culture to save you, all you're going to do is drag your raggedy personality and your raggedy behavior into that situation. And you think that person is calmer because culturally they don't have the vigor, or the, not even vigor, but the veracity that you speak in. You know, I don't think a white guy could hang with me, because I mean, look, I'm very opinionated, but I'm very passionate about the way that I speak. And they may think that I'm upset all the time. I'm not upset. And if you really know me, you know when I'm upset. And that's the time for you to move out the way, because guess what? When I'm upset, I'm quiet. All right. So for me being excited, they may think, oh my gosh, she's angry. I'm not. I believe that if you're an older person and you're not having children, and you can date whoever you want to have, I truly believe that marriage is meant to extend a group or an ethnicity. I do. I believe that. And that's just me. And I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, you know what? Okay, then I'll be wrong. For now, I'm wrong. But that's what I think. And I think that if anybody leaves their culture to go and look to another culture to give them the peace and solace that they believe that they should have, or that they're looking for, or that they're lacking, then they're going to be met with disappointment, because whatever it is in you that you've not fixed, and is the reason why you're running, you're going to meet yourself, because no matter where you go, there you are. So it's not another culture that's going to save you. Okay? It's not another culture that's going to save you. What it is that's going to help save you is you realizing that you yourself have the ability to save yourself by learning how to cope and how to deal with things, whether you go to counseling, or whether you learn how to do self-help, whether you learn yoga, whether you learn something to help your mind calm down, whether you learn to balance your hormones, no matter what it is that you've done to take care of yourself, that's what's going to help you. It's not running to another culture. And the reason why a lot of people feel like, well, I'll go over to this culture and everything's going to be all right. I have a sister that's like that. She was like that. She was like, I don't date no more black men. Black men ain't ish. Black man is this, and black man is blah, 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 blah. Black man, black man, black man. Guess what? She got in and dealt with a white cat just as bad as any black cat, if not worse. She was married to a white dude, and this white dude treated her just like anybody else. Why? Because it's not the dude. You got to fix you. It's not your culture. You got to fix you. Don't nobody want to be yelled at. And I'm not going to say that a white woman is better than a black woman because she's calmer. She may be a calmer person, but that doesn't mean that each culture doesn't have their own cuckoo birds. Every culture has cuckoo birds that have a problem. And I guarantee you that if we took this conversation and you removed it from where we are and you shifted it over into another culture, you'll find that there are some people that can identify with the conversation we're having simply because they've experienced it. Simply because they've experienced it. I want to show you this little clip that I have right here. And I've never watched it, but while you were talking, I went ahead and I pulled it. That's the reason why I was up there when you saw it pop up earlier. And I want to see what this is because I pulled up a topic and this is what it came up to be. This is what they gave me. This is an interracial couple. And it says that she had multiple 2-week affairs and now they're in paternity court. So let's check this out. Let's see where this is headed. Something. I want to look at something.
Leaving Mr. Miller for another man and
okay, let's go back. I got to go back because I cannot approach this topic without looking. The mother's holding that camera. The mother's holding the camera. The mother is holding that camera.
This is why they want white men because they so stupid.
Look at the background.
Yeah, it's nasty.
Look at the background. He was gone for a week. She did not have enough shit to do. Excuse my French. She didn't have enough shit to do. The man is out there working or doing whatever he's doing. He's gone and you got a baby to take care of. But look at the house. He's in the house and it looks like that. Imagine what it looks like when he's not there. You don't have enough to do. There was more to do, but you're looking and seeking for something. But I thought you just found it. Hold on, hold on. But look, J. Pence, I thought she found it. She got a white man. Go
right.
ahead.
Yeah, you absolutely made a good point because they seem like they'd be more happier when they get the white man. But when you look at this home, this not even a home, this is a house. It feels so empty and echoish and dry in that home. It's already dirty. And then you don't see the decorating and you don't feel the energy that she put in this house. But she got this white man though. This white man.
And she's gonna make his life
the answer to her happiness.
And she's gonna make his life a living hell. Frank said it looked like the room looked like the Ninja Turtles lair. Okay,
and that's a black man's baby.
Okay, but that's what somebody else said too. That's what Jin said. Okay, okay. But here's my point. So doesn't that go to what we were just got through saying? If you dragging you everywhere you go, guess what, sis? You gonna meet you. You dragging you everywhere you go. You don't. Now she done messed this poor woman's son head up. Okay, in a couple of ways. Because all she had to do was move her hips like she dancing, and he's stuck. He can't go nowhere after that. He can't go back to where he came from, for sure. But now, not only did she do that, she tore her brother's life up, and now he got what he thinks is his baby, which I don't believe it is. Nonetheless, okay. Look at the house.
Ms. Lockhart, you know this is my older 2 kids situation, right? When I came in the picture, it was a white man thinking that my kids was his.
Wow.
Right. And she used to keep her house exactly like that. And now, now she got some white kids. Well, she got 5 white kids she got 4 white kids and 3 black kids.
Mm.
But this was the dynamics.
Well, let's
exactly.
I'm sorry. I just had to stick my head in there and say that because I was like, okay, I've never seen this. I told you guys, I just pulled this up myself. And even though we're talking about stepfathers, if this man is not this baby's father, that woman is going to be the same tactics. She's going to be utilizing the same tactics to run around and get another man because she's looking for something in all the wrong places. But the place that she should be looking for it in is within her self-awareness and growing up. Because that room looks like the room that you have to tell a 10-year-old to go clean. Let's go. So your mama was your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Your mama was your friend. You were raised in a single parent home. But your mama was your friend.
9 times out of 10, her daddy got shot.
Okay. And now look what Frank said, the room looking like a Mortal Kombat level.
But I want you to understand, Ms. Lockhart, this is what typically in dating in the real world, not on YouTube, because on YouTube, all these women is the top-notch, cleanest woman on the planet.
And the man got to make $100,000 a year.
Right, everybody making 100,000. They house is big and spotless, and what the bam. But in reality, it's so. Even when we talk about stepdaddies, like they had a different mindset. I want to show videos of how stepdaddies are with the kids and how the dynamics is in real life when they actually been them. The people that advocate for that, they're gonna have a different ball game. They're gonna have they already changed it just off those video clips. But I wish I could just go around my family and let y'all and just put on and record. You would change your perspective so damn quick. Now you will understand why I be so passionate about this type of stuff. Because
Well,
9 times out of 10, when the stepdaddy's not around,
I would love to just fast forward to the end. I would love. Wait a minute. I gotta deal with one thing. The thing that she just got through saying is what you just got through asking about earlier. How can you call somebody else mom? Whoop-de-wham, blah blah blah. She was a young girl living with this white woman who she called mom. Right. This is still going back to the topic at hand because we're looking at how we do have the stepdads, and we're also looking at how sometimes another person can be like a mom figure to you. So you met her son that night, and because you are so self-disciplined, you guys hit it off in such a way that you just understood that the box you hold between your thighs and below your waistband is to be utilized at whim, just on a whim, right? I just feel like we've hit it off. I think he needs to see my Pinocchio, and I'm gonna do it now, and I'm gonna show it right now because we have hit it off. This is the mentality of a person who was raised by a quote unquote friend as opposed to being raised. Okay, let me just tell you, Pink says, JP, you know these be fake skits. Here's what I know, because I know one of the producers from her show. The stories or the skits that you see may be fake, but they are definitely based on real stories when the individuals do not go to court themselves. They get permission to use their story. There are some people that go on this story that it is their stories. So to Pink's point, she's not wrong. Some of those are skits.
Really?
And the people who are playing the roles are not necessarily the people who the story is about, right? So I just want to make sure that I put that out there. Yes,
for real.
did one.
Yes.
Look what Pink says. She said, "Yep, my friend did one." Yeah, they do. They'll take the story, and they'll get the permission to utilize the story because some of the stories are really good stories to utilize the story, but they have put in or plug in actors to do the story. So the stories are based on a real life situation. The person just didn't want to go on camera and show what a butthorn they really were.
This is embarrassing. This used to be the white woman.
Well, wait a minute now. That statement that she just made is another problem within the community. When you start listening to other people who, letter A, may not have a man at all, or B, just used to talking that stupid stuff. Now, you can do better. Really? Because if she could have done better, she would have. Why didn't she do better? Why weren't you encouraging her to do better and go to school and finish up and then decide who she's going to settle down with? But you didn't do that. You wanted to tell her that she could do better. My aunt said I could do better. My aunt said I could do better. Your aunt is a wreck. And she's probably, your friend may have known, but you didn't know. And see, this is how we end up on these shows with 5 baby daddies, because we have an aunt telling you that you can do better. You have a mother who was your friend. These are real life circumstances. You have a mother who's your friend, and then you leave your mama's house and you end up living with a stranger. And that stranger now becomes your mother. Why? Because that lady probably had a bit of structure in the house. And it's apparent the son wasn't there, because once the son came there, you liked him so much that you decided to give him the Pinocchio. That moment, that second, my gosh, you are a handsome kid. Hey, can we use the room you're loaning me? We just want to go meet each other a little better. I've got some Pinocchio for you. Would you like it? It's been a little used, but I really feel like you're the one for me. So she passes the Pinocchio on the left-hand side. Now she gets a baby. Then she gets upset with him because he's gone for a week. He's not taking care of things. The woman who was taking care of me before I met you is still taking care of us. Now I got to go give somebody else some Pinocchio. That's the only two I got. The only two
now,
I
Miss
got.
Lockhart. Now, Miss Lockhart, I got to be real to myself. These are the women that I go after, unfortunately, because I know I will get my babies. They usually be fertile. Like the uglier women usually be fertile, right? They be fertile, and they too much not going. A woman like her ain't gonna care about me getting the kids, right? She just moving on. Like I'd rather have my women in these positions.
Wait a minute.
I'd rather have my women in a desperate need position. I don't want a woman that got their stuff together. They irritate me.
Wait a doggone minute. You mean to tell me this is how I get my women? Because, well, you know, I've got to have a lot of children, and these women are quite fertile, the ones that look like this, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do. Man, I am trying to tell you that is part and parcel of the problem. So even though you may not agree with the whole stepfather mentality, you hang out with chicks who do. Because even while you dealing with that woman, you's a stepdaddy one time. Why? Because she hoping you might say I do. So what tells me is this. There's a lot of critical behavior going on in this jungle that we call home. And now that we know that, I'm going to need you to do better. Because you just got through admitting that these are the kind of women that you be looking for. Well, you had to be with her for a certain amount of time. So if she had any other kids.
No, my first baby mamas, I was only with her for a week. And then after I got found on Facebook 4 years later, I was with her again for another week. And then that's how I got my second child. But her dynamics is like the dynamics of women that I be getting pregnant, and I ends up with the kids. Like if she would have been my baby mama, I know the amount of pressure that I put on her, she would just end up giving me my kids. Cause you could tell how quick she just moving and just bouncing and bouncing. She don't really give a damn, right? He can actually take his older kid. Like he more of in a position. She was signed over them kids. Especially, let's just say she want to fall in love with him and that little baby on the way. But she got let's say I'm her baby daddy of the little baby. She want to be back with him. I'm going to eventually convince her to give me my baby so she can spend the rest of her life with this dude. Now I'll be out the way, me and my baby. She won't care neither.
Here we go, folks.
There's only one potential father. Who is that?
I'm hoping that it's Tony. I'm hoping that it's him.
Wait a minute. Miss, I'm sure he's the father. Miss, I really don't appreciate him not taking care of his responsibilities. Well, who is his responsibility? Me and the children. Me and the children. Now, you're sure, but now that she's illuminated you to the fact, now that it's illuminated the fact that there could possibly be 3 dads because of the window of conception, now all of a sudden you're hoping that it's him, but you just called him a deadbeat. But you just said he doesn't take care of business. But you just said you guys don't have a good relationship, and you just said that he doesn't take care of responsibilities. All right.
They definitely just be talking.
Oh, yeah. There's no accountability on this girl's part, but this is part and parcel of the community that we are a part of. And that's the painful piece. When you take accountability for yourself and you decide enough is enough, remove any help that you have. If you don't know how to figure this out, let me help you, baby, because you may be watching this in the replay. If you know that you may not be able to do this on your own, I want you to pretend like nobody else is helping you. I want you to imagine you and your baby, you got up enough money for you and your baby to stay in a hotel for one night, and you don't know where y'all going the next day. All right, because this is how we end up with all of our children having buses pick them up outside of hotels. Okay, so imagine that you and that baby don't have no help, nobody, nowhere. Why would you want to jump off of one lily pad to go jump on another lily pad to have another child thinking that the child's going to make the man stay. But then again, you can't keep your stuff.
Well, it says stream unavailable.
Okay. You don't have, huh?
It says stream unavailable.
Okay. We probably got a little bit of trouble, but it's okay. But my only point is that how would you be able to conduct yourself in such a way that you're thinking that by doing this type of behavior, you are going to make it in this world? How are you going to make it in this world? And if they hit my channel with this, the way that we're doing this right here, they're going to be heard with some mess. Okay. They're going to be heard with some mess. Why? Because I understand the law and I understand how I'm able to use this particular information that is copywritten. Why? It's changed from its original source. It is not exactly like it was when it was created. It's speeded up. You got two people on the screen, which is JP and myself, who are not a part of the screen. And we're using this specifically for commentary. Now, you put something out there in the public square, the law is the law. The law is still the law. And I'm going to keep recording on our end as best as we can. Okay. So that's that. Well, it was great talking to everybody, and we are going to cut this up and put pieces of it together. And if there is anybody out there that, well, thank you so much, Ronnie. Please consider showing the financial support to the Lockhart family in our time of mourning. We do appreciate you guys, all of you all. Well, I thank you for the people who are still here. And I believe it may be on my side. I'm not sure. If anybody is still able to see the stream on the Lockhart Perspective side, please let me know. Please let me know so that we will not be getting rid of the show. It says no host slandering or your stream will be cut. LOL. Oh, well. Is there anybody else still on the stream from the Lockhart Perspective? I do see that there are 7 people in the count. Okay, 5 by 5. We're going to keep going. But that is the problem when it comes to the community that we are in. We're not facing these issues. We're not dealing with these problems. We're not dealing with this type of mindset. You cannot have a mama who's your friend and an auntie who's telling you to just go out and find somebody new. The women in your life and the men that are in your life, the people that are in your life that are in your family, those are the individuals that should be leading you and telling you to go out and do better. To just go out and do better. Because if you go out and you do better, then things are going to be healthy for you in your life. You can go out, Jay Prince, you can go out and come back in with that link. Okay, I'll take this off the screen and you can go out and come back in because we're still up on this side. All right.
Okay, let me see.
All right. So that must have been something happened over on your stream. But nonetheless, we're going to go on ahead and we'll continue over here because I do want to have the conversation as it relates to step parenting and as it relates to the community at large. Because, see, a lot of times people like these types of conversations get muffled. And they get muffled because a lot of times people do not want to hear the truth. They want to hear what tickles. They want to hear what feels good. They want to have people like that young lady be stroked and make her the victim. She's not the victim. I submit she's the assailant. She is the problem. And even though we're talking about stepfathers, she's looking for somebody to be a stepfather to these other children that this man had. Okay, that's what she's doing. She's looking to have children with another man. She's looking to have another man be the father to another man's child. And that is the problem. We're not encouraged. I'm going to tell you guys something that is a problem within the Black community, and that is that we're getting a lot of people that are pushing education for women. Women, get your education, get your degrees, get all those things. And those are truthful. Those are good things to do. But in as much as you're teaching these young women to go out and get these careers and then later have a family, who's going to teach them how to be the mother if all you're pushing is the masculine portion? And then we get upset because the woman is masculine. She doesn't have a choice but to be masculine because you put her in a masculine role. Duh. If you're put in a masculine role where you are the breadwinner and the breadwinner is only going to be a breadwinner because they're getting money from the, Department of Social Services or especially with multiple kids. Because when do you got time to go to school? When do you have time to educate yourself? So the stepfathers are taking a bad rap, especially in this day and age, because I believe that it is a promulgated or a pushed on lie that people are pushing people. Thinking, well, don't be a stepfather. Well, don't be a stepfather, but make sure that you have your principles set from the very beginning. Have your principles set at the very beginning. If you are somebody who does not want to have children with you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody who has children and you want to wait and get married and have your own children, then do that and stick with it. Do that and stick with it. But when you see red flags like the excerpts that he showed us earlier, one woman have 5 kids, another woman got 8 kids, another woman has 6 kids, all by 6 different baby daddies, 8 baby daddies, 8 kids. What in the heck? What are you doing? 8 kids, dude. Dude. When do you have time to do the necessities? When do you have time to do the necessities? When do you have time to take care of the things that you are called to do? Now, my stepfather was a great father because now that I've learned as I've gotten older that he had a lot more insight into my mother's plight and to the issues. And these are things that I'm just learning, things that I had questions about but never got any answers to. Never got any answers to them. But I have the answers now. But it all blends together. When you are a woman who has children by multiple men, and no one has ever taught you the importance of slowing your life down, and you finally get somebody who's good to you and who takes care of your kids and who loves you, then, like my mom, you slow your life down and you be with that one person. But prior to that, my mom was just like everybody else. She was just like all the other women, trying to make sure that everything was cute and pretty, and she was a talented woman. My God, my mother was so talented. So talented. Thank God she had enough sense when she met my stepfather to make this man it. She had the 2 children by him, and that was it. She looked for nobody else after that. But the unfortunate part is that letter A, there are not a lot of good guys out there anymore. And B, there are a lot of women who look at a man as a tool, something to use, something to play with, not something to have a real long relationship with. And a lot of these young men do want, because they come from broken hearts and broken families too. You have a lot of men out there who are broken. And unfortunately, they were broken because of their mother. I remember having a conversation with my sons. And there was 2 of them that were still at home years ago. We had this conversation and I had to sit them both down and I said, I need for both of you guys, I'm going to give you 45 days and I need you to get your own place or get your place together. But I need you guys to leave my home because you should not be living with a woman who's going to be going through menopause. Because the mama you knew, I'm going to evolve into another person in a minute. Like I was going to turn into She-Wolf or something at night, at midnight or whatever. But what I did was I let them know, you are going to have to leave my home. Because you can't be here. My husband drives trucks, so he's not home. You can't be here. I'm going to drive you nuts. And it was with that in mind that I made sure that they got themselves together and they were gone. When you are of a certain age, that chapter in your life, you should do what's supposed to be done in that chapter of your life. When you go to the next chapter, those people who are supposed to be in your life in that chapter are supposed to be in your life. As you go through this life, it's not for you to be in the same circumstance that you once were. You have to grow and evolve for your own health and your own safety. This is a good point here. Your partner needs to have your best interest at heart. That young lady that we were just watching on that clip was searching for something. And everywhere she went, she was looking for that same thing. So here's what I'm going to give everybody a tip. For those of you guys who have children, if you have little girls, dads, hug your little girl. Tell her how beautiful she is. Always let her know that she's a beautiful young lady. You be the first man to speak into her heart, to speak into her life, to tell her how intelligent she is. You be the first man that does that so that if anything should ever happen, she's not running and seeking after that that affirmation of being affirmation of self. Moms, please let your husbands or the men deal with those boys. You give them the moral support and the love, but those boys want that toughness that the dad gives. They do. They require that. They understand that. They're wired that way. Period. So I want to thank everybody for listening and for everybody who gave support to the channel today via Cash App. I want to thank you guys. That's actually going to help me get to Louisiana. So I appreciate you all for that. As you all may or may not know, my vehicle, my vehicle was totally and utterly destroyed last year. And so I want to thank those individuals, and I love you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for blessing me and my family. Thank you for giving. And so what I want to say is that, again, that does help me get to where we got to go next weekend. And my dad was a great guy. He was a good man. And I know now that he stayed and let us stay because he wanted to make sure that we were going in the right direction. He wanted to make sure we were going in the right direction. That's what he wanted. He wanted to make sure we were going in the right direction. He was a heck of a dude. He could have been with any other woman he wanted to. He didn't have to get with a lady who had kids. He fell in love with one who did. So I want to thank each and every one of you all for being with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to also thank JP's people for joining us as long as they did, as long as they were able to. I want to thank him so much for that. And I also want to thank you guys for allowing me to just be transparent and be myself, because over the past several years being in this forum, even though I have other interests that I do enjoy and that I do like, those other interests prevent me from really being me and being the free me that I want to be. And I am who I am. And again, most of you guys know that. But I elected not to deal with any more politics because when you know something is what it is, you don't have to continue to help promulgate it, because you know it's all one bird, two wings, one coin, two sides. And no matter what side of the bird you choose, you're going to get full of something. If you choose to eat this side or that side, you're going to get full of something. And it may not always be good for you, but you can believe that that one bird is really looking at the best interest of itself. And when one half leaves and the other half comes in, all they're doing is picking up where the other half left off, because it's still one bird. And so I have taken those several months away to decide what I need to do and which way I need to pivot. And I've made some really good decisions on how I'm going to do these things, because I feel like some of the life experiences that we have really do need to be shared with other people. And some of the stories that we all have within ourselves, we don't need to go into the grave with them. That goes for you as well. So wherever you are, you need to share a part of yourself that you feel comfortable with, that you are able to share and impart on somebody, not everybody, but the people who will listen. And let them know the struggles you've gone through, because believe it or not, knowing of the other people's struggles actually helps people stay in this plane a little longer. Because when you're going through experiences and you feel like that young man did, like you're the only person who's going through that at that moment, because everybody else is walking around with this erudite mindset, like it's your problem, you're the problem, I've never experienced that. People give up. People give up. So I want you guys to remember to care for one another, love one another, support each other, take care of one another. But the most important person I want you to pour into is yourself, because nobody else is going to do it. Nobody, nowhere. So I want you all to remember that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yah. I want you guys to take care of yourselves. And remember what I always say, if you don't take care of you, ain't nobody else going to do it. And then after you've taken care of yourself, it's then and only then that you're able to turn around and help somebody else. There's so much more to this story that I'm going to share, and so many more things that I'm going to bring to light about life itself and about my life and about things that may help you help somebody else. Those things are forthcoming. They will be coming. I want to thank my brother Ronnie for being here today. I want to thank you. I want to thank you and your beautiful wife for being my friends. I love you guys. And my sweet sister, one of my mods, all of my mods, One Peaches 41, Rage, another one of my mods, thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and clear on out. It's been a great stream. We promised that every Sunday we'll be here, which is the only reason why I came today, because I made a promise to you guys that I would be here every Sunday. And even though Dad died this week, and it's been something else trying to, navigate and get everything together so that I can get out of here next weekend, and just trying to figure out, looking and seeing family. Because listen, there's a whole lot of stuff that you guys all know, that sometimes things come out in funerals. People decide they want to say something. One person decide, I ain't seen Betty and I ain't seen the Bob Builder in 10 years, and I'm going to tell them how I feel today. That's one of the concerns that I have about being around family that I haven't seen in a long time. So I just might go live next Saturday. I'll be in Louisiana, and I just might have to go live, Ronnie. I don't know, man. I don't know. Rage, I don't know. I may have to go live. I may have to go live, y'all. I may have to go live. I'm gonna have to ask you guys for some help. Okay. Earlier this afternoon, I made sure to put the self-harm prevention line here in the chat. I do believe that it's still inside of my browser, I believe. There it is right there. And so because we did show that, I want to make sure that everybody understands that, hey, there are people that can help you. All right. And as I promised, I put it in the chat so that you guys have the opportunity, if you know of somebody that needs it, that they can click that link, or you can share it with them, and they'll be able to find a lot of resources and a lot of help. All right, you guys, I love each and every one of you. Please remember what we always say on this channel, and that is that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes out of the mouth of the Most High. All right, you guys, take care of yourselves, take care of one another. And until I see you again, please make sure that you take care of my friend. And my friend is you.
Like a perspective.